In this war, you're going to face more than just droids. You can do this, Ahsoka. I don't remember exactly what he says. I don't remember. I started that quote, and I remembered. I don't remember what he says in the TV
I was
spot.
like, where's he going to go?
I don't remember what he says in the TV spot, but hello, Anaheim.
Hello, Anaheim.
That's old
Hayden
Christensen. Younger
Old
Hayden
Hayden.
Christensen would say, I'm sorry, master. But then now I just say, I love Star Wars and
Star
and,
Wars. Welcome
yeah,
back
that's it.
to the Star Wars Guys podcast. Listen, we've been gone for about a month, maybe.
Man.
Took a little break.
Yeah.
we were in maybe another galaxy.
We were.
Maybe.
We were
Whoa.
world- we were
Whoa.
world between
Spoilers,
worlds.
this
World
guy.
between worlds, I know.
Spoilers.
Whoa.
But welcome
easy.
back. As always, we're your hosts, Mike,
Hello there.
Nate. Hello there.
think
And
it
you
was-
know him well. Uncle.
Hello there.
We're excited. We're excited to dive into Ahsoka. Is finally
Wait, what
here.
are we talking about?
Is it the new Harry Potter TV
yeah,
show?
yeah. They
I
got that
think?
new thing.
Yep.
Just kidding.
Is it true he has green eyes in that show?
Yeah.
I
They're finally
heard.
doing something right with
They're
this
finally
character.
doing something
I
right.
heard that they got the original cast back, but they're not doing any de-aging. They're just going to pretend Daniel Radcliffe is 11 years old. He's
I
now
like it.
32.
Joe, what's the time on our off the rails there? Was that
That was right
Hey.
at 32
That was right in the middle
seconds.
of
That's
Mike's
pretty
open
good.
Quote.
We need to
Right
have
in
an,
the middle of
an
Mike's quote, he says. Where was that
OTR
going?
counter.
No, welcome. We're excited to dive into Ahsoka. Obviously, live discussion. So let us know what you guys think and what certain things you want us to cover throughout the episode as we're going through it. But the premiere, 2-episode premiere, we're gonna dive right into it. We usually start with overall thoughts.
I want, real quick, to say I want to hear the overall thoughts from Nate because
Whoa.
we
Uncle,
watched it to,
Uncle and
Oh,
I.
really?
I almost went a little Jeff
Thought you were
Goldblum now
going Joe.
because. Well, yes,
Uh,
I don't know, bro. Sure,
sure.
Uncle, mine,
Watched
not
it
yours. My
together.
Uncle. Yes,
Not
we
yours, but
watched.
mine.
We
Oh.
watched the episode
Uh-huh.
together.
Together.
Nate had what do we call that? Very disappointing. Friends. He had friends last night, but
Priorities.
yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
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 we go.
So Nate's gonna tell us what
So
he
we
thought
talked
the
a
episode
little.
is. What we said.
Overall thoughts?
Yep.
Um,
Oh gosh, a big sigh.
I
Not
know.
a,
Man, he took a second.
mean,
this is why he wasn't invited
you
last night.
hesitated. You hesitated.
Did we mention that he really wanted to come, but we
He
didn't let
did.
him?
Yeah.
He didn't let him. Well, we only invite like-minded folk. If you don't,
True.
or if you're not lockstep, arm in arm with us,
Hey,
we want one opinion only.
overall thoughts, I loved it. I had no idea what to expect. I think of this show, just with the timeline. Obviously, there's a lot of characters we know, so it's nice seeing them on screen again, or some of them for the first time live action. But still, with the story, didn't really know how they were going to set things up, how they were going to introduce these characters for the first time live action, especially for those who haven't seen Rebels. So, loved it. We'll dive into more specifics, but overall, thought it was great.
Uncle.
Amazing.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I can't make a prediction
Love it.
about the show yet, but if I were to rank the first 2 episodes of any series,
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be for me the best one.
I think so too.
We can't rank the show yet. Can't
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
Up to this point, if you've watched our podcast
We
before,
can't do that.
Andor was my favorite. I love the pace of it. I love the grittiness of it. My favorite time is at the heart of the rebellion.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Mhm.
So we're getting the tail end of that. So we're kind of still in that space.
The remnants.
Fantastic.
Remnants.
I mean, we don't think about this all the time. The first thing I noticed was the costume and set design.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was just like,
Loved it.
I felt like we were watching a 1970s version of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Filoni very intentional.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
The meaningless 3 buttons.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
goofy lapels,
the
the
goof-
big sweeping,
yeah.
the white shoes with the blue. I mean, it was just
Totally.
It
spot
felt
on.
George.
It was right on the money.
Even the switch from the original live action Lothcat we saw
Yeah.
in Mando that was CGI to going puppet version in
Yes.
this was I saw that and I was like, oh,
It feels
that felt
right.
way more Star Wars. I was like,
know
that,
it.
you're right. It felt right.
The music.
Oh yeah, we're gonna.
So
talk
we were
about the
talking
music.
at home about let's think of these different elements. Like let's rank the elements. Like the
Jack in
So,
the chat. We'll have to get to that in a
set
second.
design, costumes. We talked about script. We talked about acting. We talked about special effects. We talked about scale. I mean, with my family,
Yeah.
scale. All of those elements, I think it just knocked it out of the park. It felt huge.
Yeah.
It felt massive.
It did. It felt big.
The space stuff was among the best we've seen.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Of course, technology's come so far,
Mhm.
but this is better
It
than
looked great.
the not the prequels or not the sequels.
yeah,
by the
yeah.
way.
You're talking about
That's a
this
different
visually.
This is like we
That's
haven't seen anything this good since.
Yeah.
the
Looked great.
movies. You know, maybe Rogue One.
yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I agree. There were a lot of things I thought reminded me of some Rogue One.
Yeah.
Esque. Yeah.
I absolutely adored these first 2 episodes. I am in agreement with both you guys. I thought that when watching it, I was excited for it because as a big Rebels fan and as a fan of Clone Wars, I've now, obviously really enjoyed the Ahsoka character for a long time. She's become one of my favorite Star Wars characters. Loved Rebels and was even rewatching some of the final episodes of Rebels to kind of prepare to get ready to watch the show. And I was very excited to see how they were going to do it, like we talked about. The moment, I mean, from the very beginning, we start with our first opening crawl for a live
We
for
get
a-
the
for
red
a Star Wars.
Lucasfilm and a red crawl.
The
Yeah.
red
The
Lucasfilm,
crawl.
the
great.
ominous music with the red with the red Lucasfilm
Mhm.
and even the red Star Wars when it pops up because it has like that Star Wars Disney
Yeah,
logo of
right.
the Star Wars. That was red. And then the red crawl, which I loved that they both did a crawl and they did it different than the
Different.
normal
Yeah.
movie
Yeah.
crawl. It's almost like if they did the Solo crawl, which
Mhm.
Solo has like
Yes.
essentially a crawl, except they do like that's almost like slides, like they do that, and then
Right.
it kind of fades out and they do
Yeah.
the next words. But this
Yeah.
was like that same font, I believe. It's like almost the same font as the Solo, and then it just starts doing the crawl upwards. But
Mhm.
I love it. First of all,
Yeah.
I've been an advocate to bring back the crawl for just about everything Star Wars. I think I love when they do the crawl.
Yeah.
Even, I don't need it to feel like, oh, we only do the crawl for episodes 1 through 9 or anything like that.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see Rogue One get a crawl. I
Yeah.
thought it was kind of abrupt when it didn't have one.
Yeah.
I get what they were trying to do at the time was
Yeah.
try to separate it.
Separate the thing.
Yeah.
But I think this shows this is great. You can use. I think the crawl is also effective to just get people on board with. Okay, here's where we are.
It
as
helps
far
for
as
everybody who
timeline.
hasn't seen
Exactly.
everything.
Exactly.
It
Yeah.
catches
Stage.
everybody up and
Right.
sets the stage so that you can jump right into
Yeah.
action.
But
Yeah.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I thought it felt very big, like you were talking about. I felt like it felt cinematic. I think that sometimes, as much as I love Mandalorian, there are times that I feel like, oh, this feels smaller, and it is maybe a smaller contained story at times, obviously. But there's times in Mandalorian, and even the most recent season of Mandalorian, where it feels like the stagecraft volume is pretty evident. Like,
Mhm.
oh, I can just kind of tell that there's a reason why there's only 6 stormtroopers here instead of 100 with Moff Gideon.
Right.
Or because they can't fit them all on stage, or they can't do this or this. The way they use, and obviously I'm sure a lot of this was volume. I don't think this is shot the same way that they did Andor. I think a lot of this is volume, but it
Yeah.
looks really good. I think. Like,
Yeah.
I think it looked the space stuff like we talked about looks the best space. The best space action ships, all of that stuff. It looks again. We've talked about how much we love Kenobi, the Kenobi series.
Yeah.
I think that unfortunately that suffered from some budget
Yep.
issues, some decision things where it's like, oh man, this feels smaller than I wish it did.
It
That-
helps to have Filoni running the show.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's
Deborah
like,
Chow can't just
she
say,
doesn't have
I'm
the same
doing
pull.
this. Filoni can go, no, this is the story.
Yep.
yeah,
Now we got to make it happen.
exactly.
And you can see it because there's so many references from
And you-
all kinds of his own stuff, but George's stuff.
And you even mentioned something I thought was so cool. Like one scene where Ahsoka's we're gonna get the details, cuts through the stone.
Yeah.
She could easily have stooped down, but they used the special effect.
Yeah.
They did that
Yep.
countless times with ships flying in the background.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
don't need that, but
you don't
they're
need that.
there.
And to
They
me, and that was one thing we briefly talked about.
Yeah.
Was I said for me when I was watching it, it made me feel like because this actually was going through my mind as I'm watching it for the first time was they didn't cut corners on this.
No.
And whereas in Kenobi, to me, it did look like there were moments. The first time, for instance, we see Vader and Obi-Wan fight.
Yep.
In the kind of desert side. To me, that felt like kind of cut a little corner. It didn't seem very big for the first time we're seeing them again. Now, I know it wasn't
Yeah.
the big battle at the end,
Right.
but it felt like this was shot like in the back parking lot type deal.
Because
and
he's
then
kind of on one
it felt
side of a
smaller.
pile. They runs away, and then he's
Runs
like
away
almost
on
on
the
the other
pile.
side of the pile.
Yeah.
And you can just
Smaller.
kind of tell.
It
Smaller.
didn't
sure.
feel Mustafar where we left off with them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Whereas this, seeing those little details made me
Corellia.
feel like they
Corellia,
did not
yeah.
It's
cut
just-
corners.
This is the whole. It's all there.
Yeah.
It's like wow.
Yeah. The
Yes.
shipyard.
That's-
Huge.
Yeah.
That's
It
where,
felt-
yeah.
Stuff. The
Felt
passing
big.
scenes are
Even
like
the
massive.
explosion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, all of it.
This
Felt
is not
big.
again. This is not a knock on other shows. It's just shows are different. This is to build up this one. But like I think Mandalorian suffers from that a little bit sometimes. Of like, oh man, I feel like we're seeing the same street alley of Tatooine a lot, or like it feels like we're just
Right.
on this one block, and I
Yeah.
can tell, even though they're not showing us that there's nothing, I can kind of tell that there's not anything else on the set.
Yeah.
Where like this is like
Yeah.
we're starting from back here. And we're showing you, cool. They land in, and you're like, whoa! They did the digital, they did the effects for all of that whole city, a bunch of different ships,
good.
flying, vehicles, all this stuff, and then they land, and then it's here's 20 workers in the background who are all doing stuff. And like, oh, this isn't like,
And-
we happen to have one guy here who's gonna come talk
Right.
to you.
I noticed
It
too.
was a busy, it was awesome.
Another
Massive.
thing I noticed too, which was some fan criticisms of some of the other stuff, was like not particularly Mando.
Boo, Nate, for
I
you
don't know
bring
if it
this
was-
up.
I don't know if it
Boo.
was
Come on,
Obi-Wan.
Come on, man. Come
But I don't know
on.
if it was Obi-Wan.
Come on,
I can't
folks,
remember
what-
what show it was.
What are we
Maybe
talking
it was
about?
Andor.
Start. Come on. Start. Killing
You know
wars.
the deal.
Killing
Come on,
wars.
no, I shouldn't.
You
Hey,
should.
try to stay awake over there.
Uh,
I stay awake. It was past 4 p.m. 4. It was 4 p.m. At the Golden Corral. Come on, dinner time.
There's just no tame in
time.
this guy.
Dinner time. Golden Corral. Early bird special. Come on.
Oh man.
Well, so what I was saying is the stuff from Kenobi. Anyway, back to the podcast.
Yeah.
Kenobi felt, or maybe it was Andor. One of the criticisms people were saying was like the lack of like alien species
Yeah.
seen about.
Right.
And they may have had their reasons for that, and it could have been good. I don't know. I just know that was some things, and it felt. In this, I noticed a lot of the background.
Yeah.
There were multiple characters.
We got some
throughout.
Ugnaughts.
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
alien, different species
Right.
about the whole each. All the different sets and scenes and stuff.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, nice. I don't know if that's something they thought of intentionally doing, but I recognized it, so I thought it was cool.
Listen, Dave knows what he's doing. I mean, not that we did doubt him at all, because we've seen what he's done with the shows that he's been in charge of. But this is a big thing for him to be the head of, like, we've
Of a
seen,
live action.
of a live action. We've seen him direct, but this is like it starting stops with him now. And we knew that he was going to take his time doing this correctly, or like doing it how he feels like this needs to be done like this, or else we're not going to do it. We've wondered since Rebels ended, when are they going to continue this story? Because
Right.
we'd love to. We're like, Ezra's missing, Thrawn's missing. There's all this big
Cliffhanger.
thing. We've wondered now for years of, when are they going to do it? So we should have known, which I think a lot of us, had a lot of faith in him, but not surprised that, when he decided that we're going to do this and this is the time to do it, that he would do it and put a lot of. It feels like the budget's big. The music. Can we talk about the music for a second? I love the classic. They use a lot of. I was rewatching Rebels, the finale today, and they use a lot of the Ahsoka and Sabine themes that they had in that. But then they also had some new music, including that like punk rock song that
Yeah.
when Sabine's on the motorcycle, that was like this. Oh, that was the thing I want to think of. When Balin walks in.
That was a Max Rebo special, by the way.
Yeah, that was a Max Rebo.
It's on his
stuff.
second release. Probably. don't know that.
DJ Max. I don't know what Max says. He's just an elephant.
Max
What
Rebo on
if she's
the
just listened to?
Max Rebo and the Ugnaughts. They don't get a lot of.
That would
They
have
don't get a
been
lot of
hilarious.
coverage.
Sabine's just riding, singing along.
What? Shakes up. What?
Cantina work kind of overshadows everything.
But the scene where the reveal of Balin and Shin walking in, and they start going ham using their lightsabers. The music. that
Going
is
ham,
ham.
using the lightsaber, cutting up like Jedi.
Going ham.
Jedi.
I actually
Sick,
meant
like butter.
I actually meant spider ham.
Spider Ham.
Oh,
That's all,
Spider-Ham.
folks.
That's all.
Uh,
Take it. It'll fit in your pocket.
the
Spider Ham.
Spider-Ham.
Does whatever a ham can. Good
the
on bread.
music.
Good on toast. Yes.
Bread, good on toast.
Spider ham, he does the most.
With eggs. Here comes a spider ham.
The music that's going
We'll
on
cut that out.
when Balin is is when they're going through those people is so sinister yet so sci-fi.
It's very
Like, it
his
feels
intro
like
is very
he is
Darth
great.
Vader.
It's like horror
the steam
music,
and coming down
but
the
it's sci-fi. It's it actually, and some of it felt like almost interstellar music a little bit.
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah.
felt a little Hans Zimmer. I know it wasn't. It was Kevin Kiner who does Rebels and
It's
Clone
got
Wars and stuff.
that.
But I love
It's
it.
had a
It's- yeah.
tribal. I love that. It ties in with Ahsoka. We
Yeah.
talked
And now
about
I've
that.
talked too much, so I was going.
But going off
We'll
of
take a
Balin,
little
just the
nap
visual
over
of him coming down the ramp was very Vader-esque introduction.
Yeah.
With the steam coming out, you can't see who it is.
Yeah.
And then just walking down the ramp,
I just thought
people
yeah.
just waiting for him.
I just thought of another subtlety. Have you noticed the landings, Joe? You maybe saw this too. Have you noticed the kind of the clunky landings of the ships?
Yeah,
Not
not
as
the
They're
smooth.
not like
Yeah.
there's a clunk
It
to
hits,
them
yeah.
at the
Yeah.
end, which that's a
more realistic.
detail
Yeah.
that just feels good.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah. One of the things I want to get to, and we'll continue our discussion here, but Jack in the chat.
What's up, Jack?
I would love to know your overall thoughts on these first two episodes. Said you really like Clone Wars, but didn't really like Rebels as much. So I'm curious what your thoughts are on the Ahsoka show so far. If you like it with it being live action, if it's maybe just characters that you didn't really connect with as much. I'm just curious. But yeah, Clone Wars, I love that.
we love
yeah.
Clone Wars and Rebels.
I love Clone Wars and Rebels, yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
felt Clone
that's
Wars started slower.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It started. It's not
Yeah.
slower. It started more kiddie.
Roger.
So more kiddie. And there are some Rebels episodes that I could
Even Rebels
Yeah.
starts a little
Could do
slower
without a
sometimes.
couple.
Although it does start with Vader right away.
exactly.
But there are definitely. I mean,
There's
we
some
spent
Ezra
like
moments.
it's just
we
a
spent
couple
like
episodes,
Yeah.
we spent like 25 minutes on Melu runs. I mean, like
True.
we get it. There's a space
True.
melon. Let's move on.
And
True.
we don't. I don't really care about inflatable pigs very much.
Yeah.
That's true.
That was
We
one of the
got a
first
lot of
episodes
Especially
I
when
watched.
Lando's on
We got
screen.
a lot of
I don't know why. I
the
got look
inflatable
at Lando.
pigs.
Boom.
Yeah. Oh, Lando.
I'm gonna go back to the beginning. now and
That's
watch
my
whatever we
that's
hear.
my inflatable
Hey,
pig.
Spider Ham.
Spider
It all
Ham.
comes back to
And
him.
Hondo,
Hondo.
who's just eventually we'll probably get live action Hondo.
Oh,
he
that
just
would be-
shows up in everything.
It's
I
gonna be
think they
awesome.
just keep it for Galaxy
Question.
Edge.
Are
Right.
we getting Zeb in this show? Even though it's like so obvious to feel like he would be because this is the Rebels
Yeah.
crew and he's the only one missing aside from a character who passed away in Rebels if you've watched Rebels.
Kanan.
But
Kanan.
Ezra,
I think we do.
I got
You
hit in
cut
the
your hair.
eyes. I
I think
can't
we
see
do,
you,
but
Ezra.
not as in like ongoing join the mission character. I think we get him.
Because we saw him in
because
Mandalorian. That's why I bring it
Like
up.
we see him in Mando. I think we get him, and maybe even Mando with him, as a here's the Rebels characters.
I'm changing my
We got
answer.
him all on, but he's not going to be a part of the bigger
I'm changing my
picture
answer.
of the story.
I think that he's replaced by Carson Teva. And Carson is now
he starts
the new
ruling Lothal.
Carson. Yeah.
He takes out Ryder.
He takes out
Carson
Ryder,
Teva and
Clancy
Tim Meadows
Brown,
are
which
gonna-
I love the fact that they
Love
brought
it.
him back.
Yeah.
Because he's a voice actor.
Oh, he's
I mean, he's
great.
more than a voice actor. He's a
If they were just
Yeah.
casting
regular
the
actor.
part, he would be great. For
Oh,
the
yeah,
part.
He
It's
looks
just
exactly like
perfect.
the
He
character
looks-
they
yeah.
created.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So great.
I changed my vote. I think we do get Zeb.
In
I thi-
season 2.
I-
Season 2.
Well,
What about
whenever-
Agent Callison? You
Whenever
can't get Zeb
they-
without Callus.
Whenever they figure out how to use the Eye of Scion and they go to when they get to it, I think Zeb's going with him because they got to go. He's got to go.
When
find
they use the
Ezra.
Eye of Sauron, is that what you said?
the Eye of Sauron.
the Eye of Scion.
A little. Yeah. I love it.
Sauron.
Filoni loves his Lord of the Rings.
Is Ahsoka Gandalf
He
stuff.
does. He does.
No, I think that I wouldn't be surprised at all. I'd probably be surprised if they didn't.
So let me
show
ask you
him.
then. So here's the question, right? So we did this with Luke. Why would they not have Zeb? Are we thinking they wouldn't because it's too much trouble?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is the only thing because
See, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I'm
just
like,
too much trouble as
I'm
far
not
as
saying
just
I'm not doing that again.
animating like everything.
I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use the story. I think he's
Yeah.
in it.
He is briefly. I mean,
They went out of their way to show you him. Do you think that's the only time we ever see him?
I know. I think he's.
I feel like that. I feel like he's got to
it would be
in
weird
more.
to not explain that. Like, it would I know he's doing other stuff, but they're getting back together. They're gonna go find Ezra. They're gonna go after
Yeah.
Thrawn.
And there have
can't
been
imagine
quotes
him
about this
not-
being like potential just Rebel
I
season
can't
5.
imagine him not.
Well, so
going.
far, that's what it feels like.
Maybe
So
not.
far, they've even, I think it was
There was a
Rosario
lot
talking.
of-
There's the quotes from Rosario talking about Dave Filoni and
Mhm.
and their conversations about mentioning how it's basically a Rebel season 5.
Rebels 5.
Yeah, I mean,
I
there,
bet
So
there
if
was
that's the
almost
case,
as much
the Rebels
Sabine.
got to get
yeah.
back
I'm
together.
There
going
was
with
almost
yes.
as much Sabine as there was Ahsoka in these first few episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So for sure,
I mean, it
felt
definitely
like
feels
Rebels.
like she's playing as big of a part. And
Yeah.
one, her connection to
I think
Ezra.
that will change.
But-
I think that even though I know it's Ahsoka and Sabine going off
Yeah.
on this mission, I do think it's going to. I wouldn't be surprised at all if the next couple of episodes, the relationship between those two, obviously, I think Ahsoka will start even taking more. Not that she's not the center role right now, she is. Like we've seen her go off on things, but I do think that Dave. We know how protective Dave is of Ahsoka.
Yeah.
I don't think Ahsoka is just going to be one of the gang for the show called Ahsoka.
No.
I think that she will definitely be the driving force, pun intended. Speaking of
Hey.
force, Nate,
Well,
why?
Let's think about what they've got a kind of a two-pronged mission here, right?
Yeah,
Ahsoka wants to get to find out if Ezra's, but that's not her mission.
Her mission is to
she's
shut
got to
down
prevent the
Thrawn.
war.
Thrawn, that's right.
Prevent the war.
But that's not
Sabine wants to go get Ezra.
boom.
Yeah.
So we got to, and Hera would, I'm sure she's going to be. So we're going to have this Scooby-Dooing at some point where
Yep.
we've got
Split
Ahsoka. If they're together, fine. But if they're separate,
Yeah.
whatever, I think they might.
In
This
this Scooby doing,
feels-
real quick, is Sabine Shaggy or Scooby? I just want to make sure I know.
She's Velma.
Sabine,
She's
no,
Velma. She's Velma.
it's Sabine
Yeah.
Shaggy and the Lothcat Scooby.
Okay, Scooby.
Her Lothcat
Ruh-roh.
pet. I love the Loth.
Roka.
Roka?
Kind of going off the
Ahsoka.
scale, like we talked about the scale of just the production, but the scale within the galaxy, this feels huge too. Where we do huge
Mhm.
canon stuff dropped about galaxy to galaxy stuff now. Like that feels
Yeah, they're not.
massive that they're
We've
confirming.
already
thought-
hit what 4 different
confirming
planets.
aliens.
We thought that they were in the
aliens
unknown regions,
coming
but they're not.
from yeah,
We thought they were just
No.
like in the unknown regions
They're
out
right
there. They're
there,
like,
man.
nope, they're in a different galaxy.
and that's huge.
That's a
That's-
massive thing. I
That's
mean,
a big thing that
next
they're
stop,
confirming, and they mentioned
the
that
Yuzan Vong.
they
No, we're
mentioned
not
yeah.
bringing them into this.
No,
I
but
don't
they
think
do
that's it.
mention ties to the idea,
Are
basically
they?
stemming from that there are species,
true.
alien species out there that have come from other galaxies and have
That's
been
true.
exiled.
hmm
And now Thrawn is out there in exile. And
Could they be in a different time? Talk about time
World
and
between.
space.
Yes.
yeah,
I don't know.
I could.
yeah.
you
I
know,
don't.
I could get on board with that. We get
don't
back
know.
baby Ezra.
Baby Ezra.
Then it's a end game. He'll grow.
He'll
I can't kill
Look,
baby
it's
Thrawn.
Scott.
Look
He's
at him.
a
He's
baby.
Little cute
He'll
little blue
grow.
guy. Come on.
Look, it's Scott. He's a baby. He'll grow.
He'll grow.
That's hilarious.
so
bro.
great. No, I don't know. I don't know. If,
I think
I'm-
they're not right now.
I don't. Yeah.
I have a
I don't
question
know if
as
we're
to
going
what,
world between worlds. We might just be on this idea
This
of
one.
what I would.
the super like hyperspace
It looked like it, but I think that
Travel.
might be the Eye of Sion kind of
Yeah.
building up.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's building up the different
So
hyperdrives.
do you
to get
guys
it.
think that that's going to be like a they're putting those SSD, they're putting the engines there to get
Yeah.
the thing spinning
Uh huh.
to create a wormhole? Because that's what I
There's
think.
something
Maybe.
travel there.
Because they put them on the side so they can
They
spin
did,
that
spin
thing,
around.
and it gets spinning fast enough that they can create a
Yes.
connection between this and the other galaxy.
Oh yeah, I didn't
That's-
think
yeah.
about that. Maybe.
That's
I
what
was
think
thinking
they're
it was that,
trying
or
to do.
some. It was something that powers.
Or it could be a
something
I thought it
super
was something
drive.
that was
Go,
just like
there's
a
like a
super
interstellar
drive that they're
travel.
basically
Could be a
building
super
a
big
super
hyperdrive.
machine that can get you. Because to me, it reminded me of the look that we see
Hyper
on
hyperdrive.
like
Yeah.
Obi-Wan's
Where
starfighter
they
pilot
they
in
connect
Attack of
in.
the Clones when he connects, and he uses it specifically to jump hyperspace, and that was it.
Yeah.
But this is
So he
like that
connects to the end.
times
This
100.
is like that
Yeah.
to the max. That
This
they're
felt
now
like a little
getting
bit
these
of the.
Star
yeah.
Destroyer hyperspace,
Yeah.
or
Drives.
hyperdrives.
Kind of felt like
to-
the spinning
build
interstellar
it.
That's what I was thinking.
spaceship.
But yeah,
You know,
yeah,
that
yeah.
spins like that the whole time.
That'd be cool.
I have a question about something that I want. I can't wait to find out whether it's in this story or in a book or a comic or something. Maybe it'll be in the story, but the basic notion that Ezra and Thrawn went off with the Purrgil and have been living there for years, and are they both fine? Like, this mean like
Yeah.
what have they been doing together for years?
Mhm.
Like, I'm very curious
Yeah.
as to. It's one thing if like oh, he's
Are they
got
even-
him hostage, or he's like, are they like,
Yeah.
is this like, is this a Zeb Callis situation where like they're both just stranded there, and like they end up having to like use each other to survive, or
Just-
like
yeah, I
work
don't-
together, or like not like that
Well,
one
it's-
goes good or one goes bad, but like they're
Right.
literally like, well, we're here
Yeah.
living with whales, and we're humans, although
Yeah.
you're blue, so
It is
he's really
interesting
a chiss.
because those two have had
he's really
such
a
a
chiss if
unique.
you want to get technical, but
They've had such a unique
um,
relationship too. As like
Right.
Ezra has had moments in Rebels where he does sit there and just hear out Thrawn's.
Yeah.
well,
Thrawn's-
Ezra's not a
Like it's
Ezra's
like
not
you know
above.
what I mean? He's
Yeah, Ezra's not above a good coercion, meaning him being coerced.
Exactly.
He falls
Maul.
for stuff. Maul got him. I'm telling you, ignore the fact that he has horns. Ezra.
He's red
Kanan.
and evil.
He's
He
red and
gave me
evil.
the Sith holocron.
He's-
Said we need to put them together.
He told me that I could have unlimited power. That sounds good. Ezra. Ezra. If you watch Revenge of the Sith, Ezra. He's got to know unlimited
Yeah.
power is always a bad thing.
I don't know.
Um,
That's a good question. I don't know if they'll address that or if when we find them, they're like not even together. Like
I think
they're
they'll
now
be
separate.
separate.
But I mean, I'm just curious as to what they've been doing
How
for
does that
years,
happen?
other than living with whales.
Unless Thrawn is, this has happened. They've been there for years, and Thrawn has some sort of allegiance with a group of people now that are there. That's what I'm wondering. Like,
Thrawn's just got a
is-
whale army.
if
he's
they
coming back with.
mentioned other species out in a different galaxy
Yep.
that have been exiled out there before, what's the chance that it is just those two? How do we know there's
He might have
chance
honestly
that
gotten
they
the
have
Chiss
run into other
ascendancy.
people?
Yeah.
Man.
so I don't. Maybe they've run into other people and it's.
How are they gonna? Yeah. What's he
Yeah.
gonna do?
I don't know.
The other Chiss to get on board. Yeah, I also have one other question. This is not nitpicky at all.
Why?
I'm just curious. This is before we get to why.
Nitpick. Nitpick.
All right.
Nitpick.
Nitpick. No. I have a question. The map that they find is
star
in
map?
an ancient temple that was like been there for thousands of
The
years.
Night Sister
That
temple?
they knew exactly where Thrawn was going to end up. Like this is a map to Thrawn. There was a map that was put there thousands of years ago that we're going to say where these space whales were going to take Thrawn. I'm just curious as to the connection
Yeah,
as to
I wonder
how
that too. I wasn't
how
sure.
this map has been buried, but also they know that it leads to
I think
Thrawn. I'm just saying, like,
no, they
how
haven't.
do they know?
They haven't said this yet, but so this is just kind of speculating. And they may answer this moving forward because that was one of the questions I had too. And Ahsoka mentions there's been whispers of Thrawn's return.
Yeah.
So if there's whispers of Thrawn's return, that means there could be potential, especially from Morgan, and that they have an idea of where he's at.
Yeah.
And if they have an idea of his location and they know that this map exists that gets them to this galaxy, like they might know he's just in this galaxy.
Yeah.
The whispers may have
Makes
gone
sense.
about that they were taken to this galaxy and that's where he's been exiled. He's stuck there, and they know
Yeah,
that
they
this
know
map
there's a map.
exists that gets you to this galaxy.
Yeah, that makes
That's
sense.
kind of, and I don't know if they'll address it. I don't know, but that was kind of what I thought.
I'm
Like
also
maybe
interested
they
'cause
just
the
knew that this
Purrgil,
existed.
I think, were just they travel, light speed, or yeah. There's a lot. It's not like even nitpick. I just am curious as to. I wonder if we're gonna learn more
Yeah.
about. I don't think we're gonna get like a whole Purrgil episode, but I'm curious as to like these.
George
these
would give
things-
us a Purrgil
There's
deep
no
dive.
dialogue.
He'd give
at
us a
all.
Purrgil trilogy. George would. If these things travel to different
The
galaxies,
wheels
not
of the
Yeah.
just
circle.
Maybe that's just like their
not just to hyperspace. I
that's
mean,
their
it's like-
migration galaxy,
Right.
and
Yeah, it's true.
that's the map.
In the map, it was interesting in that star map when Morgan's using the the green magic and it's going everywhere. When they point at the supposed like galaxy of
path.
where he is, there's a circle of Purrgil, which is like interesting that even on the map,
Yeah.
it's like this is like Purrgil territory. Like there's like these whale-looking things that surround the entire thing. So
That's
it's
what I'm
almost
saying.
like
So I
That's
think-
what it is. It is a location, an ancient historic location of importance
yeah.
Yeah.
that this particular map that's been hidden reveals how to get there. It so happens that that's where they went.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
And maybe they know
that's
that
what you're
that's
getting at.
the Purrgils. That's where they've gone in the
Yeah,
past.
it's purgatory.
something.
Yeah, Purgatory.
Purgatory. I
That's
like
very
it.
good. That's very good. That's
Sarah
sure.
in the
That's
chat, Joe.
That's good. Yeah.
I
Joe?
like it, Sarah.
Wait, can we
Strong
please-
looks,
Maybe
Sarah.
Maybe they
Strong
learned how to ride
looks.
the whales. True. Maybe they got saddles on them.
Can we find out what Joe thinks?
Joe, overall thoughts?
I hated it.
I'm out. Big out.
I'm out. I'm just gonna leave now. No.
What is happening? What is happening here?
What are we?
I loved it. Loved it so much. The thing that hit me the most was, I mean, you guys talked about most of all this already, but like crawl style, right?
Well, we are pretty good.
Going
We cover most of the good
to
stuff,
cover
you know?
everything that you wanted to know and a little bit you didn't want to know.
A lot you didn't want to know.
Crawl goes into ship like flying over,
Yeah, it looked
right?
like-
It's like
Yeah.
the sound design on this show sounds so much like original trilogy, like the X-wing sounds, all the like little droids, all these like tiny little like almost lo-fi sounds like on purpose and not set on these like not these crazy high def. You're like, oh, it sounds so crisp. Yeah, and the music, you get the punk rock, you get this like mystical, almost like Harry Potter, like there's little light like like little sounds. You're like, oh, it's all happy, and then it's like, you know, huge strings and cello leads, and it's like really emotional. And then some of the like when they're in the temple, the witch temple or whatever that was, they were like these hard, like gritty synths that are like, you know, 45 hertz, right? They're just like barely audible, and it's like just like rumbling, and they're like super dissonant and all. And it's like it's all over the place, and I love it. It's all over the place in the best way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense.
No, you're right.
Yeah, and I love it, and everything about the show.
Did you have a favorite moment?
Good
Oh
question, good
man,
question.
We've done it. Let's do that. Favorite moments.
favorite moment?
Joe is first.
Joe, kick us
And I'm
off.
first. No thought.
Quick. This is the internet. We have a lot of
Don't think,
people
don't
that are
think,
going to
just
slip
speak.
this out and
Don't
share
think.
this.
Just speak.
Don't
Don't think.
think. Don't think. I can't not think.
You can't, when somebody says don't think, that's the first thing you do. Wait, what am I
That's
doing?
it.
I'm
It's a
thinking.
Ghostbusters. It's a
Don't think.
Ghostbusters.
I
Clear
can't
Stay
think.
Puft Marshmallow Man.
You watched that
That's
2
it.
nights ago.
You watched Ghostbusters.
It's the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. We did.
I would say probably like Lothal or
Oh.
Corellia. I just like.
Lothal in live action.
I
was
just
so
Yeah, it
just
was
the
cool.
live action, like just the big
seeing it.
Ezra's
grandiose of it all, and
Yeah.
The
and-
Sabine on the runway was cool.
oh, that's so good.
Seeing the track like
Yeah.
that is pretty cool. Live
Yeah,
action.
I have a
Probably-
favorite
probably
part.
those.
Ooh.
Oh, let's hear it.
When they're on Corellia and she's having the fight with the two, and she drives through the droid and pushes the droid all the way to the Inquisitor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Starts using his like a
That's my
block.
favorite part. I also like
I
when
love
she
it.
blocks and gives the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
That it?
I love that.
I think the fighting, her
Oh my
fighting with the
goodness.
double with the 2 sabers. One, that can't be easy. That's got to be difficult training. But
Mhm.
I thought it looked good.
Yeah.
Like I was wondering like how they were gonna do some of the fighting stuff, and I'm still intrigued to see where they go from here.
Mhm.
But doing that with the whole cosmetic stuff all over the you know
And the heavy.
the headset like she's
Robes?
wearing,
Yeah.
the robes, everything with the 2 blades. I thought, how much movement are we gonna see? And I thought it was good.
Let's cover favorite moments. Can we talk about Ahsoka for just the character a little bit?
Oh, yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
What did you have a specific favorite part?
I don't know.
Yes, my kids. They would say
Probably
all
if
of
I
it.
had to just all of it.
All's my favorite.
beginning to end.
Eli.
I think one moment, I don't know if it was my favorite, but I thought it was really cool when the Inquisitor throws the blade, the saber,
Oh man,
and then it waits, and then she's just watching the ship fly away and just
Mhm.
dodges it like it's
Leans
nothing. I'm
over.
like,
Yeah.
like that was another moment of a detail I thought they don't have to add
Absolutely.
this stuff, but they did. Made me feel like they didn't cut corners anywhere. I thought it was great.
I
Her-
loved.
She's saying, "You're running from me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're running from me
Yeah.
now."
It's like they
That's
just got
twice.
out of the way.
Right.
Blondie.
Exactly.
Right.
I
Yeah.
love the. There's a number of like samurai-esque.
I love all the
moments.
references too, and we'll get
Yeah,
to some
yeah,
of those.
yeah.
But there's a ton of references.
I love
Right.
when she is down in the I call it like the Indiana Jones Open because
The
I
temple.
loved like the Raiders of the Lost
Yeah.
Ark feel of.
Yep.
I wanted her to all of a sudden, do the hands on the face thing, and then I thought she was gonna, flip and pull out some of the stuff and put the sand on there.
Yeah.
No, I didn't actually think she was gonna do it, but I love that scene.
No,
and then
no.
I love she senses, she hops up, and then the shot of the droid just sitting there perfectly still with the cape was so cool. It's one of my
So
favorite
cool.
moments of the whole
awesome.
thing. It's just she pops up.
And
it's
the
just
cuts
already
to the
there.
other ones too.
And then it leads to, I thought, one of the kind of funny / goofiest moments, not in a bad way at all. I thought it was kind of funny though. I don't think it was maybe intentionally supposed to be funny, but it was kind of funny when they're like, us. Like when it felt like a little Power Rangers moment too, of like yeah, we're here, and I'm here, and I'm also here. Like it was kind of funny.
And I'm also over here.
But my favorite moment is anything with Balin in it. I thought to me
He's
Balin
fantastic.
was
So good. Oh,
the
think I know my
way
favorite.
he is playing this character. Again, rest in peace to Ray Stevenson. So obviously tragic that he passed away. His acting, and I've watched a number of things with him in the past, and always thought he was a really good actor. But the way he is playing already, and the way that Dave is already presenting such a complex character of
I got my favorite
like
moment.
mercenary, ex-Jedi, ruthless because he's like immediately he's killing people and then like taking like pleasure in the fact that like we are no Jedi and like just
Yeah.
pretty brutal. But then at the same time, he has that great scene, and him and his apprentice Shin have a good conversation at one point when they're like, if Thrawn does return, and she says like, what's
in it for us?
What's in it for us? Like basically,
where
where does that put
why
us?
are we
Like,
doing
why
that?
are
Yeah.
we doing that? And like, so that's interesting that she's already like, but are we just with them now, or are we just doing a job for money? Like I thought we were doing a job for money. And he says something like power, or beyond what you could imagine, or something like that. But then he has that line talking with Morgan Elsbeth later.
This is my favorite.
Yeah, I love
When
that.
they're talking about Ahsoka, and she says something about like, I can't remember the quote, but she's
You're
asked
unsettled.
something like
or
you're
something.
unsettled at the fact that Ahsoka Tano is on Lothal or
On
on
Corellia.
Corellia, and he's like yes, and she's like and why? And it's it'll be such a
It's a shame or
it'll
something.
shame.
it'll be
like
a shame
that.
that
so few.
to kill her will be such a shame. And she's like sympathy or sentimental. He's like, there's so few Jedi left. Yeah, and it's sentimental is truth. It's just so interesting that he does like feel like deep down he's like, I wish I didn't have to go kill Ahsoka.
He will
Like,
do
I
what
don't
he
wanna
must.
I'll do what I
Yeah.
must, but it's
But he can
but
respect.
I kind of don't feel good about the fact
He
that I have
respects
it. I
the
feel
art.
like I will be doing this, but it kind of brings a sadness to me. But I'll do it because I
Yeah,
have a job.
I agree.
But
I
it's
think
interesting. Not a Sith,
super
not a Jedi,
interesting.
an ex-Jedi, clearly doing bad things. He's not doing things on behalf of the light, but it's also on behalf of just power and greed, and not.
It's exactly what
and
the Sith
not
would do.
just a-
finding a place.
Yeah, it's
in
not
this
about good. It's not
galaxy.
about necessarily this one or that one. They serve whatever purpose gives them what.
Yeah,
what
they're
they want
their
most.
personal
self-serving
gain.
for sure.
It's self. It's
And
self.
The Jedi are selfless.
I think the
Jedi are
reason I
selfless.
like that
Only care
line,
about others.
I think the reason I like that line so much too is, and you kind of said it, but
Some ways
When
we're
I-
encouraged to love. Sorry, I had to.
this guy.
It's implied in our man.
And then
what?
the reason I like that scene so much is because as I was watching it, as soon as he delivered that line and she says like sympathetic or whatever she said, and he says truth, it immediately added like so much more depth to his character off of like that one line about.
For
'cause
sure.
now I'm like, he's not just a ruthless like go through. No, we're not. You're right about one thing. We're like we're not Jedi, whatever, like that or something, and like kills him.
He's
stuff
not
like-
acting out of rage or anger.
He's not, but
it's
it made me
ambitious.
feel like
Get in my way. Yeah. Right.
it's almost like he recognizes. To me, it came off as like there's so few left,
Yeah.
and he's not claiming to be one of them as a Jedi, but
Yeah.
it did feel like there's so few of us Force users left
right.
that it feels it's sad to see. Even though I don't like her or whatever,
Yeah.
I'm against the Jedi.
Right.
It feels bad to
That's it.
have to kill her because I'm basically I'm taking part in and witnessing like the extinction of our like they're not a race or species, but
Mhm.
they're like sort of like I guess for lack of a better term, species in a sense of the Force users among the
Which
galaxy.
he clearly sets himself apart from Vader, which his goal was to. They were trying to wipe him
Wipe
out.
him
yeah,
out.
kill all of them.
Yeah.
The Emperor is to get rid of all of them.
This feels
Yeah.
almost like
Different.
someone
Feels
who
different.
Yeah,
someone who parted ways and maybe bitterly on bad terms.
Something
with
happened.
with like a
Right.
Like in the real world, was someone who like parted ways with like a company or a team or something like that. And then now that they've gone away and they still don't have good feelings towards them, but then that company folds. And you're like, well, it's kind of a shame to see. Like, that's the place I used to work. And now it's, I had some friends over there, and now it's a shame. I'm not going to go save them.
No.
But it's also like, it's almost a shame that it's come to this.
I noticed Shin has a Padawan braid, too.
I noticed that, too.
Yes.
Interesting.
I noticed that, too.
Not a
some
common...
great looks.
Yeah.
Her character has
Her
like
character
these eyes.
is
I think it's cool because
fantastic.
Ahsoka is not a Jedi, but she adheres to a lot of the tenets.
Mm-hmm.
They're not Sith. We're getting this gray area where they're
gray.
They're mercenary. They're mercenary force users of the dark side.
Yep.
You know, Ahsoka's not a Jedi, but she's working for the good side,
Yeah.
but not always. Like, clearly, how did you? Well, I didn't use the ways of.
This is.
I don't even know if
Ahsoka's
Ahsoka's not a Jedi.
You
anymore.
wanted to
Well,
talk.
I can't tell.
You
Maybe
can't
she
tell.
is.
Well, you
back
wanted to
trying
talk
to
about.
follow
She
a version of the code.
She implied with getting information from Morgan that she was.
That she was not.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
I didn't follow.
I didn't follow the
Exactly.
code.
Yeah, the code.
The we're talking about Ahsoka. It's
let's.
this is
Can we
probably-
talk about? I wanted to maybe spend a little bit of time talking about how we thought the characters from the animated came to life.
Yeah.
Did
Mm.
we? Did we capture it? Are they different? Are they too different? Are they different in a good way? Are they the same in a good way or bad way?
Yeah.
Because I noticed a couple things that stood out to me. I was curious what you guys thought.
Yeah.
In chat too. I know you guys are watching live. Let us know your thoughts.
Because it's hard.
Tease
You're
us
trying
real
to
quick. Give
yeah.
us a teaser. Stuff that stood out that you thought was different or similar. Or both. Or don't tease us. Just explain.
Similar in a way, but I think, and this is the one thing I mentioned this to you. The one thing that stood out to me is Ahsoka seems sad.
Yeah.
It feels. It's methodical.
in a time where they're trying to
calm,
rebuild.
but it feels
It feels
it feels intentionally sad.
Mhm.
The only time that she shows kind of emotion is when she's in the midst of a battle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when she's fighting, there's a little bit of a spark.
We
there,
get
but
a
otherwise
tiny-
it's all really kind of
we get a
subdued
tiny
and
little smirk from
distant.
her when she sees Sabine say,
Right.
"I'm ready," and she's just like,
No,
Like,
she's very distant.
I was
Yeah.
going to go there as well. This
and
is
it makes sense. She doesn't want to get close to anyone
yeah.
because all of these things have ended poorly.
Mm-hmm.
All of the
Yeah.
relationships that she's had.
it honestly
so many.
feels a lot. It feels similar to the way we see her character, not at the beginning of her storyline,
Yes,
but the way her character ends
right.
in Clone Wars. It feels like this thing has all of this, everything we've done and worked towards has come to this downfall. And I'm watching all these people that I have fought in this war with. She lived her entire life so far has been through the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
That she was building up this thing, looking like they're about to overcome, and then boom, Order 66.
And realizing
It
she
feels
was
like
a
that
part
weight, even though they've now defeated the Empire.
Yeah.
Feels like all of that is still just like bearing on her because knowing that Thrawn is still out there and Ezra's gone. It feels like that is.
And she maybe had a hand in the fall of Anakin because she wasn't there. All of that
Feel
stuff.
some weight to that.
Yeah.
There's just
On
Before
that
we-
note,
Real quick, before we dive into that, I just want to answer one question we got in chat. How many episodes of Ahsoka will there be?
it'll be 8.
Right? Yeah. 8
There's
episodes.
6 more.
25%
episodes.
of the way done.
Yep.
On that note, I agree. I feel like, especially from watching, I feel like also this is, and I think it is intentional. I think if I would never say Dave made a mistake about Ahsoka. This is like this is his creation, his character that he's obsessive about. He loves this character. It's interesting how I think they're also having her play as kind of cold, almost a little
Distant?
cold, almost a
And-
little her most kind
Especially
of
to Sabine.
But not
I was gonna say,
arrogant.
not arrogant, but almost a little. I wouldn't say she's not the kindest right now. When
No.
we've seen her as usually a pretty kind, sympathetic,
Very mistrusting. I
Very
think.
Yeah.
like optimistic.
She's
She's always been
not-
pretty optimistic about like everything.
even
Yeah.
at the end of Rebels, because I was rewatching Rebels. Like when Ezra pulls, and again, they're two different actors. There's Ashley Eckstein, and then there's Rosario Dawson. I think Rosario Dawson's doing an amazing job. But it's interesting. There's like a little, even of when she is pulled out of the world between worlds. She's pulled into the world between worlds, basically.
Yeah.
And rescued from Ezra. Like, there's a way that she talks to him, like, Ezra, that's not the way this works. This is like, and this, she's very like slow
Very
talking,
slow.
very minimal. She doesn't give a lot of, well, we can't do this because of that, or like even understanding. It's kind of like she's very guarded, and she's not talking a lot with anyone. Even if it's Hera, she talks, but it's not like she's not a chatterbox.
I'll tell you what it
So
feels
you
like.
just
It
talk
feels
a
like
lot more.
she, even though she has these connections, it feels like she, at least from her own perspective, is alone.
Yeah.
Like that's the way she comes off with everything.
And it's interesting.
And that's why she's minimal with the way she speaks. Why she tells Sabine not to go anywhere. Let's keep it on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
Like it feels like she's just like doing her own thing, and she. It's almost like she doesn't relate to everybody else in a way.
It's interesting.
Like
I
she's
think
fighting
she
her
maybe
own battle.
I think she felt like this in The Jedi, the episode that they did for Mandalorian. Felt pretty
Yes.
similar, which was also on a dark, dreary planet.
Yeah.
Like, again, this is where we learned about Morgan Elsbeth, like that whole storyline. Maybe it was just being around Luke. She seemed maybe a little bit more upbeat
She did.
when she was on that planet.
Mhm.
And she's a little smiling. She's still doing the arms cross thing, but it's like it's not like a cold like who are you to like Mando. It's like she's happy. See, look at Grogu, like he's this, and like she's much more warm. It's interesting because we still don't know exactly the timeline of. We don't know exactly the timeline of when that meeting with Luke. When she actually meets Luke.
That one. Right.
Yeah.
In that meeting with Luke, she's already with him. And when Mando goes there,
Yep.
and it's interesting trying to piece together, okay, we saw her fighting Morgan Elsbeth. Where is Grand Admiral Thrawn? We
Yep.
saw that in Mandalorian,
Yep.
season 2. In Book of
So it's
Boba
after
Fett,
that.
in Book of Boba Fett, you get the her and Luke thing. But it's like she's also with Luke. Is this, we don't really know. Is that a glimpse into after? Is there a glimpse in before?
Right.
Because it's interesting that she's now just hanging out, spending time with Luke when there's like this, she has this pressing matter of finding out about Thrawn, doing this. Like maybe it's just, you're not doing that 24/7. She went to Luke. I can't wait to see when she
on
finally
a
talks to
second
Luke for the first
viewing.
time.
On a second viewing, I thought perhaps. Now Morgan Elsbeth looks older, but I thought perhaps it was at that meeting on the Jedi episode that she took her prisoner.
Yeah, because she was fighting
Yeah.
her and she defeats her and
She's
disarms
right there.
her, right?
She took her prisoner.
Yeah,
She is locked up, already
Yeah.
in prison. She says goodbye to Luke.
I think so.
He goes. She takes Morgan Elsbeth, and then we're off. That's what I.
And says goodbye to Luke.
Yeah. Or
'Cause
not
the
Luke.
Luke's,
Not Luke.
he
But
says goodbye to
Mando.
Mando.
says goodbye to Mando.
So
and
you're saying at this
Grogu.
point we haven't seen Luke yet.
Right.
She hasn't seen Luke yet.
I
You mean
thought
in
the
Ahsoka?
Jedi episode
Ahsoka.
was when she captured Morgan Elsbeth.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what I felt
That's
like.
what I
She
thought.
disarms
Because
her.
this starts with her prisoners being transported
So
to.
it's like right after that she goes off. So, but
Mm.
we don't know when the Boba Fett.
Yeah.
We
was.
also don't know if she's been in prison somewhere
How
for a
long
while and
or
they're
what?
transferring her
Exactly.
to a
Yeah.
Exactly.
different
Because she did
prison.
spend time interrogating her. We know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And this doesn't feel like Ahsoka's like, what? I just put her on the ship and she's already out. It feels like
Exactly.
Yeah.
it feels like someone broke her out of prison, like
That's
that
right.
type of a
She
thing.
could have been there for.
And
a
she
long
had to
time.
have
for a
gone
while.
through this whole finding the map.
Mhm.
Too.
She's been looking for that.
She's been looking for it. So there's
Yeah.
definitely
Man.
And where
Mhm.
in the world does it fit in of when she first meets Luke? Because
Right.
I will.
I'm waiting for Hayden.
Well, the meeting
I
of
know,
Luke
Hayden
thing. The
Christensen.
meeting of Luke thing is essentially the
It could be
the
that
learning.
moment.
Well, I'm not saying we're not going to see the first initial meeting of Luke in this show. I don't know about that, but the first official meeting of Luke would naturally be the time that she discovers. In rewatching Rebels, she essentially knows. She knows who, she knows what became of I almost said of Hayden, of Anakin,
Right.
and she sees the mask, all this stuff.
Yeah.
But she doesn't know of the redemption. She doesn't know of Vader. She doesn't know in Vader's last moments. And the only person she can really get that information from, because there's only a few people who know, would be from like a Leia or a Luke,
Yeah.
Mhm.
because that information was between Luke and Vader
Yeah.
in the last moments, and the Emperor, and the Emperor's
Or
Yeah.
a Force
Yeah.
ghost Anakin.
Force Ghost
But that
Anakin.
wouldn't have
But
happened yet. That we
It
didn't.
would also be interesting, kind of from a Force Ghost Anakin, be like, "You got to believe me, I turned good. That's why
I
I'm a-"
swear.
She's
That's
like,
why
well,
I'm
"How
a
are you a
ghost."
Force Ghost? Like,
Right,
Sith
that would
don't
be
get Force
weird.
Ghosts. Well, technically, there
And
was
why
like
do you
30
look like
seconds where I
Sebastian
was good
Shaw?
For a second. What happened? Yeah. Why are you
What?
70? What happened?
What happened?
You
No,
already
um,
have. You already have. You all right about me? She's like, what
Don't
the
tell
heck
me what
happened to you?
Just-
First of all,
Tell
tell
Ahsoka.
First of all, I look great compared to you.
Exactly.
Like, this is like, I look 30.
Yeah, I'm
80.
curious
What
when we see
Maybe we'll find out.
Hayden Christensen.
What do you guys think about Sabine
Yeah.
coming from Rebel
coming over.
the
It's just-
animation
I think-
to live action?
The Sabine introduction, I thought it was perfect.
Mhm.
Thought it fit her character very well. She's still very rebellious.
We're able to tell everybody who hasn't watched
yeah.
get
You
a
can-
glimpse.
Yeah,
Mhm.
very rebellious. Very. I mean, even in this scenario, they're trying to like honor her
Yeah.
and what she did and helping save, and she's like,
Jai Kell was on
and
the,
she's rebellious. She's like, I'm
he
out
was
of
in
here.
Rebels too.
Yeah.
He was, yeah.
And I thought that moment touched a lot on her character. One, and the character that we've kind of known her to be as kind of this rebellious
Right.
character. Even with the Mandalorians, she was always kind of rebellious and even doing everything with the rebels and not being with the Mandalorians.
Mm-hmm.
So she's always kind of given off this portrayal with the graffiti art and all that stuff. So that's the side of her that we already know, but then it also sets the stage of she's still like this, but where she's running to go and stay in like Ezra's home where
What's
he
it called? They
stayed.
called
Right.
the observation tower.
The observation tower.
Or
So
communication tower.
to me, it told everybody who hadn't seen Rebels, this is kind of the character of Sabine.
Yeah.
Like she's gonna do her own thing,
Mhm.
rebellious. But then it also catches everybody up with where her character's at now, and that she's still this loss of Ezra, even years down the road, has affects her daily.
Yeah.
She's basically living where Ezra was at. Even just the imagery of the Lothcat she's taking care of is all like Ezra.
It's all there.
It's all Lothal. It's all
right.
it's all reminding her of him, and the fact that she's not wearing the armor. It's
Mhm.
like this state of not depression, but like I can't get over the fact that he's out
Mhm.
there and we lost him.
Yeah.
And how she's trying to cope with that. It feels like it's setting the stage for this is who she is, and then we obviously see like the haircut scene, all that stuff. But
Very cool.
the introduction I thought did a lot for her character of who she was in Rebels, and also for everybody that knows her, this is where she's at now.
I thought the casting for the show was really good.
Yeah. I think you're
Really good.
fantastic.
I thought that she was great as I think Natasha Lou Bordizzo, I believe is how you say her name. The actress who played Sabine was awesome. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who plays Hera.
Yep.
I thought Hera was maybe.
Who was married to
Do you know this?
Yeah,
crazy
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. You guys know that?
Ewan
Ewan McGregor
Not
is
not
married.
Alec Guinness.
Not Alec.
No.
That would be
No.
awkward.
Interesting.
But
Yeah, married to Ewan
married to
McGregor.
Ewan. I thought that Hera was maybe the most in line with the animated character of any of them.
That's
Of, like,
Just her dialogue and
I
stuff.
love that you said
Yeah,
that.
I
Hannah was
agree.
having a hard time with that. My daughter Hannah has watched all the Rebels and
I agree.
all of Clone Wars. She had a hard time with Hera.
yeah,
The look of it.
yeah. Oh,
The
the
look.
look. Yeah,
It's a different shade of green. It's a
a different shade of
There
green.
is
but how do you
I thought
how
the
do you create a green
mannerisms-
person? I mean,
Yeah, I thought the mannerisms, the
Yeah.
way she plays the middleman,
oh,
the
her
middle
character,
person.
she played it perfectly.
It
the
played
even the
even like the
chop.
the
Connecting.
the-
Oh,
a little bit of
man.
not an attitude,
Love
like
that.
a bad attitude. Like she has personality. Where right now in this early episodes, Ahsoka's very dry. Like that's
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
she's gone through stuff.
She's
and
like,
that's
I am a
intentional.
general. I'm a general.
She has personality and stuff that she says.
I'm
And
giving you
Hera-
authorization.
Hera meets Ahsoka. She doesn't expect. She's
Mhm.
always been that way.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
able to see what the person has and
Yeah.
guide them without
Yes.
being heavy-handed.
Mhm.
Sabine on one side, trying to guide.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
love the fact that ship battle with that transport, with
Yeah,
the
yeah.
freighter,
Oh, that
with
was
Chopper.
awesome.
I thought it was fantastic.
That was so good.
Oh,
The
yeah.
way it was shot,
Yeah.
the way it was done, the whole.
The,
You got the Chopper Herod connection clear. You got the
Chopper
fact
was
that
great.
this is a serious pilot here.
Yeah. The way
Yeah.
that they're
The
firing, and
planning,
she's
that's
just boom,
just-
she's avoiding it the whole time.
And
Chopper,
I
can
love
you do
that
it? And
Chop-
please
Chop
don't miss
gets
this
a-
time.
That felt very
awesome.
animation. That felt like a very like Rebels animation move to
It
have
did.
Chopper like pull out a thing and be like a droid.
Oh, it's
throw
perfect.
throw the tracking
Yeah.
thing
Yeah,
on there.
it was
That
awesome.
felt like something you don't always see in live action, but
Uh-uh.
more of a animated like tactic, I
Right.
guess. So I like that they utilized Chopper's character in
Is
doing
it bad that I'm
and-
starting to understand what he's saying now? That's kind of a weird
Yeah,
thing.
I know.
you speak
I
chop.
can hear it.
I actually
can hear him
thought
go.
the same thing.
I was like, wait a minute. I
I
know
heard
he
the
just
words.
said.
Yeah,
I know he
I
just said.
actually did.
I never miss. I know he said that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
You
miss
did.
this time. I never miss.
I know. I actually
That's
thought
it.
it's funny you say that because I thought the same thing. I was like, wait, can I actually hear the
I-
words
I
he's
went
saying?
back to try to find.
I was
Right.
like, you can actually hear the
Go through
dialogue
my
a
stuff.
little bit.
He said, "Did you go
Chopper
through my
was
stuff?"
perfect. Hu Yang was great. I thought
Absolutely.
Hu Yang was
I
great.
thought he was great. I think that it's so cool for anyone who is not
Same
familiar with
same
him at
voice
all.
actor, right?
Same David Tennant.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it was great.
Let's familiarize people with the character. You said for anybody that
I was gonna
Hu
say,
Yang?
yeah, that
the little backstory on the.
a Jedi droid, not a droid who is a Jedi, but a
Although that would be cool.
That would be awesome.
Not a
That'd be
living
cool.
thing. Continue.
Which explains
that would
his
be weird
knowledge
to
of sabers.
Yeah, that would be
and-
weird to
yeah.
have a Jedi who can't even use Force.
All living things.
I'm just kidding.
Force.
He's talking about
the-
Sabine.
No, we're gonna talk about Sabine.
It's
We're
gonna
We'll
be
get to that.
fine.
We'll get
I
to
know,
that.
I know. I don't even mean that as I promise. I don't mean that
As
as
a
criticism.
joke.
I say it as a joke because Nate.
We've
by
been
the
going
way,
back and forth on this.
Nate, this is a little peek behind the curtain. Nate in Los Angeles. I'll tell people what he said.
I don't care.
Nate and
Tell
I
him.
were out of town last week.
Hanging with the big old NBA guys.
The big cats.
the big loaf.
Running with the big dogs.
Running with the big loaf kids.
The Loaf Cats.
The wolves.
The L.A. Loaf Cats.
No.
Imagine
The
team
newest
name.
expansion team.
The L.A. Loaf
They got a partial steak.
Or Loaf Kitties.
What did Nate say?
Nate said. Nate said.
Wait, that'll be our merch. L.A. Loaf
Loaf
Cats.
That would be
a
awesome.
loath cat with like a headband that goes just over one of the ears. That'd be
L.A.
so
Loaf
good.
Cats.
Um,
Chewing on a basketball.
that's it.
Oh.
Nate said,
What did Nate say?
I don't know. I won't say exactly what you said because it's not safe for ears. No, I'm just
Whoa.
kidding.
This is a safe space.
No, we had made some predictions as to how they were going to handle what we had seen in the previews
Right.
of Sabine as potential Jedi Padawan, which we knew she had fought with the Darksaber
Darksaber.
before. We knew
Right.
that she's a Mandalorian. This was a big reveal in the trailer that she's trained to be a Jedi. We didn't know this. This
Right.
was she was
didn't-
one of her best
yeah.
friends was Ezra. We hadn't seen
Yeah.
you know, there hadn't been a lot explored that suggested that she was a Force user,
Yeah.
you know, was Force sensitive and could use the Force. And Nate and I were like, wait, are they going to go down the route of someone not using the Force being able to be a Jedi? Because we've seen other characters like, you know, in Rogue One, we have
Moff Gideon
characters
using a dark
we have characters. Well, not
saber.
even just using that. We also have characters who are in tune with the Force, but are not a Force user.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
like
yeah.
the Keepers of the Wills, and like
I'm one with the
people who are
Force.
like-
The Force is with me.
yeah,
Right.
so they're able
Mhm.
to because the Force, you know,
Surrounds us,
binds us,
yeah.
binds us, you know, whatever. You know the movie.
Almost important.
But so we were interested as
You
to
know the
are they
thing.
going to go that she is a Force user? And I think Nate said maybe that was the one that Nate said. Nate said if we go the route that she is a Force user and that she's been able to use the Force
The whole time.
and the whole time, and Ezra's sitting there training, and it just happens to like, we lose one Jedi, but one that was already with us turned into a Jedi, like because he can use the Force. Nate said, "I'm out."
Oh, 100%.
Nate said, "I'm out." He
Whoa.
actually said, "It'll be stupid."
Oh,
That's what he said.
It just would make no sense to me.
But how do you?
Stupid Sabine.
so I
would
want-
make
That's her
sense.
show name.
Stupid
Stupid Sabine.
No, it would
Loaf
just
Cats.
make
Loaf
no
Cats,
sense.
Stupid
Been
Sabine.
shooting mailer runs in the basket.
It would feel like
um,
it would just. Hey, to me,
So I've
it
been
would
wondering,
feel like the
how do
biggest
you feel?
stretch.
so how
to
do you
have-
feel about
Just
the reveal
imagining our
that she is?
podcast and there's a blank chair. And we're like Ahsoka sad. Nate's not with us anymore.
So the reason I bring this up is I wanted to know how Nate feels about the fact that they are in fact suggesting that she trained to be a Jedi.
But Ahsoka cares not
But Ahsoka cares
about
not.
the Force ability.
And that, and how do we feel about the fact that I've kind of always, can anyone be a Jedi?
Apparently.
Is a Jedi
I think-
just a code? Because if so, like,
Yeah.
is that the same as like being a Mandalorian? Basically, it's like it's a
yeah.
code. It's being a pacifist. I train. I can fight and defend, and I'll. Or is there something that like also your midichlorians do? The reason why people go a Jedi now there are two of them is because Jedi implies that they have abilities.
They have abilities.
Not just like
Right.
they are
Yeah.
pacifist. That wouldn't be scary. It's the
Yeah.
fact that they are.
That wouldn't be scary.
It's
It
the
would
fact
be
that
the
they are-
opposite.
Yeah, it's the fact. It's the fact.
They're going to negotiate us to death.
Do that.
The fact that they can use the Force is what puts the fear into
Yeah.
the enemies. So I was curious.
It's nuanced.
Yeah, so that's why
Because being
I-
a Force user does not a Jedi make.
exactly.
Yes.
So I was not suggesting one way or the other. I was curious as to open this up as to how do we feel about that, and also Nate, at what time are you going to
Out.
be officially out?
Well, I won't be
No, you
out
won't be
because
out
they're
'cause
not going that route.
They actually said that she
Oh.
has basically zero.
They
Force
said
ability.
they basically said she's got no
Yeah.
force. But
Hu Yang started
saying
roasting
about,
her.
Right.
I was
You
just
have
saying
no
if,
Force
if,
abilities, and also you are slime.
if this
Whoa,
entire
what in the world?
Here's your saber. Now go fight.
if this entire time Kanan is training Ezra in the Force and Sabine had the Force and she didn't know it, and
Nate's saying Force away Hayden Christensen.
know, it's
In the
like-
I'm like-
Force.
Feeling thick.
I'm
over
like-
here, forced.
to me it just
Feels
if-
forced.
it feels
it
forced.
feels forced.
It feels forced, and
Hello,
so
Anaheim.
I was just like, if they do that for the live action stuff after all this, I was like, part of what makes Sabine cool is that she can compete with Force users and not have the Force. Like that's part of what makes her so cool is that she was so good in combat as a Mandalorian and worthy to yield the dark saber, to be a leader and
Yep,
not have the
yep,
Force. That's
right.
part of what kind of makes her in someone who's doesn't have the Force a higher level combatant character to be able to fight
Batman,
that way.
Batman, Superman.
And that's part
Who's
of
the greater
why
hero?
people like Batman.
The guy who's just gifted. I mean,
The one
how
with
the big-
easy is it for Superman?
So
Batman's
if they were
working.
to
The
then
one with
go
the big
do
bank
that,
account,
I would.
obviously.
That's why for me, if they were to go to
Self-made
then do that,
superhero.
I'd be like, why? Like she was already cool. You don't have to do that. That's
Yeah.
why I said I'd be out because I wouldn't like that. But
I
anyway,
think, yeah, go ahead, sir.
I was just gonna say, with her being, but set that aside, her being trained as a Jedi. One, I think that's cool. I think, like you said, it's nuanced. I also think, Balin said it in this. There's very few Jedi left.
That's right.
So to me, it actually makes more sense that Ahsoka, who also doesn't really recognize herself as following the Jedi code to the exact code,
That's right.
it
Yeah.
doesn't surprise me that she would take someone on who she sees as already a strong, someone who's strong in just the ability to fight, who's
Mhm.
already had some training with the dark saber, so has proven to be able to yield a lightsaber.
Yeah.
No, she'll never be like she's not going to have the Force sensitivity, so she's going to be a step down in that regard.
Yeah.
But can hold her own and still use a lightsaber, use Ezra's lightsaber. We have this tool. Why not put it to use and learn about that stuff and learn about the code because it's more about the kind of morality and how you carry yourself than it is about just your Force ability, the
Mhm.
actual Jedi code. To me, that makes sense, especially knowing that there's not many people left, that they would still want to keep that going with those that they feel would fit that picture,
Yeah.
even without the Force.
Yeah.
So I think that's fine.
Uncle, what say you?
What
What say you? I
What say you?
I think it's a subtle move to be inclusive because when we saw Ray has proven that it doesn't matter, your family doesn't matter, it's your choices that matter.
Mm-hmm.
Filoni is telling us it doesn't necessarily matter if the Force is strong with you. If you make the right choices and you learn to follow the code, why can't you train to be a Jedi? I think that's
Yeah.
what. And Ahsoka, beggars can't be choosers. Sabine wants it. Ahsoka knows it, and there's nobody else. They have a connection. I think it's a perfect. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
also
think it'll
it's
come up.
touching on the idea of a Mandalorian Jedi again,
Yeah.
but without the Force ability. And the reason I say that is because when she goes to Ahsoka to say she's ready, basically, to continue her Jedi training,
Right.
she does so in her Mandalorian armor.
Mandalorian.
It's that is the combatant for not having the Force ability.
Right.
Is the other side of her that is special
Mhm.
in being Mandalorian and being able to fight in their ways and with the armor, all of that stuff, the creed, whatever it is that she's still following as far as the Mandalorians to offset the lack of Force ability. It's like, all right, I'm putting this back. It's like Luke cutting himself off from the Force and then coming back.
Mm-hmm.
She cut herself off from this
I'm bringing
this
what
part
I have.
of her.
I'm coming back.
And I'm basically
Mhm.
accepting everything that I am and ready to move forward with.
I think
with the
I
training.
think Hu Yang put it in. He already said you're not
Yeah.
a Force user. I
Yeah.
think. Don't you think that this could fit in now with Mando? Who is the rightful leader of Mandalore? A Jedi Mandalorian? What? That'd be like.
I mean, there's.
Why not bring Sabine back over to the other side and
You could
Could be.
We need to get a connect these dots as to the timeline.
timeline?
Here of,
Yeah.
did did
we don't know?
Luke? He gives Grogu the choice. Grogu, you can do this or this. He goes that, and then Grogu flies away, and Luke goes.
Bless him.
Luke goes, crap. And then he gets on. He gets on the
Ahsoka, don't give him
Ahsoka?
don't give her
Ahsoka?
a choice.
You got
Let her
anyone
do
else?
both.
Didn't expect it.
Ahsoka. Anyone that could possibly
Just take
be a
anybody.
Jedi. No, Force ability doesn't matter.
Yes, I'm sure.
Yeah. Emotional? Oh, we can. Yeah, we'll nip that in the bud.
What is
Okay,
he
yeah.
talking on?
His fingers. His force Skype. And it's
Force Skype.
Our technology's communication is more advanced than theirs. I mean, they
By
have the
the way,
holograms, but
How
the
about
communicator?
the cool way that Morgan Elsbeth's holograms work?
Those
I
are
know.
awesome.
It was like a
The,
smoke
from
or
the
something.
it was from the
It, like,
from the
drops
top
down.
bottom. I thought,
witchcraft.
I was watching that. I was like, again, the details.
Yeah,
That was
The
really
details
cool.
of that. As soon as I saw that, I thought that whatever that was evil. That was dark. That was
Dark
that was
magic.
Thrawn's side. That was that
dark
side.
green witchcraft.
That wasn't a
Yeah, that
a
was cool.
clean Jedi hologram coming.
By the
out.
way, did you get the subtle title, "Toil and Trouble"?
Yeah, that's
I
right.
recognized it. I had to look it up.
Yep, it's from Harry Potter and the Goblet of. It's a Goblet of Fire when they're singing the double, toil and trouble, fly on a burning cauldron, bubble.
That was
They're holding
it.
the giant toad.
it's the
So
sing
good.
along.
God,
The sing along version too.
That's actually I didn't make that up. Look up the Harry Potter film in which they sing "Toil and
It
Trouble."
is on there.
But that is not the original. Yes, what were you saying?
It's not. It's from
No.
Walt Disney.
Yeah.
I think it's
No,
Shakespeare.
it's from the Harry Potter with the
I
giant
believe
toad.
it's Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Shakespeare, yeah.
Double,
Toil and
double.
Trouble.
Yeah.
Master and Apprentice.
Anyway, I thought it was cool.
I liked the
Master
dual
and
Master
Apprentice.
and
Yeah.
Apprentice that it
Yeah.
was at the same time Master and Apprentice of Balin and Shin.
Yep.
I
That
got to
was
tell
very
you,
good.
I love the character of Shin.
Yeah,
I-
she's really
Just
she's
cool.
great.
expressions, how it just feels like slightly off, like
And also like
just
the
feels
questioning
slightly
look.
unhinged.
Yes,
always
definitely.
like
He feels
always a
very
little
in
bit-
control, and she feels like she's about to burst or she's
it's
about
just-
She
to
does.
lash
could
out or
just
do
at
something.
any second, like I don't.
It
think they're
does.
She
like
There's
felt
something that
more.
looks
She felt
weird.
more.
Unhinged
It's
about
weird.
it. Yeah.
Even in their fighting style, he was very upright, calm. Like he was violent, but he
Yeah.
was still like. And she was
Oh,
like
she's
almost like the Ahsoka, quick, like stay low, just like
It
almost
does.
like she was eager to just like I'm ready.
It
to
feels
just
like
go
a
attack.
rabid animal or
Like a-
something.
yeah.
Like something that's like waiting.
Right.
Also, the like questioning look of when Balin's talking to Morgan, and they're talking about the path
Yeah.
to find Thrawn with the star map, and she's just like looking at him like a Padawan, like questioning, like
we?
what are you
Yeah.
saying? Like why are we? Like it seems
and when
like
they asked if he was troubled, she looked at him like,
He
"You're-
said,
"You're nervous about this Jedi?"
and then he
Yeah.
says,
What are you
"No,
talking
I
about?"
am toiled and troubled.
I'm toiled and troubled.
You have
Yeah.
much to learn, Padawan. I am
Padawan.
toiled and troubled.
I'm double.
So-
I'm double troubled.
this is
Sorry, Master.
We
I
got
talk
questions
like
in the
Anakin now.
chat here. Luke says,
Stop
Luke
it.
in the chat. Welcome, Luke. We got Luke Skywalker in
Luke is
Skywalker in the chat
Hey, what's,
says
hey, what's that flashing? Hey, what's that flashing?
Luke in the chat says
Skywalker takes the lead.
I agree. I hope she is like the blind guy from Rogue One. So not full force, but
Yeah.
some sensitivity there.
Uh,
And then he also said,
Cheered,
why
and
did
we-
Ahsoka
Yeah.
choose to train Sabine and not Grogu? You could argue we've seen more darkness from Sabine than Grogu. So why did Ahsoka choose to train Sabine and not Grogu?
Limited options.
Limited
I'm just kidding.
Options.
No, I don't know.
Um,
That's a good question.
that is
and
a good
also,
question.
why didn't it work out?
that
maybe-
could be,
maybe
honestly,
it
it
turns
could
out-
be part of it.
Turns
Maybe
out
she
it's
started.
difficult not being able to relate on certain or like
Yeah.
not. Maybe it's even challenging for Ahsoka as a teacher of like
I was going to say, yeah.
clear your mind, listen to the Force. Oh, sorry, can't say Force. I forgot. Meditate. This is like
think
trying
hard.
to.
I think it's
Yes, we're not gonna do the fighting with the blast shield down.
Right.
We
No,
need the blast
no,
shield
no.
up because if you can't.
With the
feel
blast
Force-
shield down, I share exposition without even thinking
Eyes can
about it.
deceive you. Don't trust them. Sabine, trust your eyes. You have nothing else to go on.
I think it's
You switched
interesting
up your targeting
timeline
computer.
wise too.
Fine. I learned this 10 minutes ago.
Timeline wise too. I don't know. Maybe she was already training Sabine before she got asked to train Grogu.
Yeah.
Like maybe the part where she was training Sabine and then they stopped training already happened, and then she sees Grogu, and after Sabine not working out, knowing Grogu's strong force sensitivity, knowing the Anakin fall, like that sort of stuff, she felt I'm not right to train him.
It could be even simpler than that. It could be that she's going after Thrawn,
And yeah,
and I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
yeah.
It
I
could be
mean,
that
doing
she
this.
says, listen,
I'm
I
gonna take care of a
know
baby.
because I've talked to Dave.
I'm not
That's
keeping
this
a
is
baby.
a different show.
Yeah.
This is just a
I'm
different show.
not gonna start
My
training
show's
a
going this
baby.
way.
that's true. Yeah, I don't
Right?
have a
Yeah.
straight answer.
Luke's
but
sitting on this planet doing training. It's all he's doing.
Yeah.
Sabine has a mission
yeah,
that way, or not Sabine, but Ahsoka.
Ahsoka. Oh,
And
that's
Sabine is on the mission,
for Ezra.
so it makes
In
sense.
fact, she even
It's
goes.
true.
The only reason she goes back to Sabine is because Harris said, "You know who would
She
would
needs to help
you?"
open the.
because she
That's
wants.
true.
And then
To
she
get the
said,
map.
"I don't know if she'd be interested." And Harris says she would for Ezra.
Yeah.
She'll do it for Ezra.
Yeah.
So that was another part of the reason why she even goes back to get Sabine to continue her training is because she knows
yeah.
that if we're going on this journey, Sabine has to be involved
Mhm.
for the sake of Ezra.
I love this show so
But-
much. We're 2 episodes in, but
Man,
His
I
characters, everything about it.
love the way this show started.
I love all
immediately,
of
I'm
the-
all the way in. I love it.
can we go through some? Can I just rattle off some of the connections that we see, some of the Easter eggs and stuff, references?
Yeah.
Sure, rattle
Are we going
away.
to share the bad news about the time of the next episode, or we can just let that be a surprise?
Yeah, we'll share
Mm.
real quick.
That it doesn't come out till next year.
Yep. They
Yeah.
postponed the whole thing. The writer's strike
Mhm.
pushed everything back to December of
Yeah.
2029.
Oh no.
There'll be 3
But
movies out by then,
Yeah.
but they won't finish.
James Cameron will
Ahsoka.
be partway through the second.
I am
of the
going to
Way of the
travel
Wild.
world between worlds and go see this thing tomorrow.
Report
That's
back.
it. Yep.
No, I heard it was 30-some.
32, I believe I had
32.
heard.
Perhaps the shortest live-action episode of any Star Wars show yet.
Yeah, but we got an hour on the first one.
But the theory is
56, 44.
the
maybe
theory
something like that
was
so
the
far?
same director's doing episode 3 and 4.
Yeah, so that's
and they're
going to feel like
treating
a
it
chunk.
they're treating it like potentially one full episode where it's split into 2.
Yeah.
It kind of feels the way
So it'll
that
be an hour.
I mean that's kind of the groupings. That's similar to what they did for Andor. That worked really well.
Yeah.
Of like 3 they did 4 3 chunk
Yes.
like 3 episode beginning, middle, and end. Boom, that's a story. Beginning,
Yeah.
middle, end, and it all tied together. But it was like you felt a continuation of this story
These
is
3
concluded, and
connect.
then we tiptoe into
Yeah.
where it's going. This story is concluded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where this feels like I understand why they released these first 2 episodes together.
Oh man.
Oh yeah.
Could you imagine if we just end with Sabine
And just
dead?
Sabine right there, and
Oh man.
well, and then us who watched the trailers were like, well, she has long
can't
hair
be
still there. I know
dead.
she cuts her hair because
Yeah.
I saw the
Yeah.
trailer.
Yeah.
I know you're going to share that.
Luke-
Wasn't there a scene where Shin says, "You have no power"? What was that? Remember that? Didn't she say that?
In the trailer,
I thought
In
I
the
heard her say, "You
trailer.
have no power."
In the trailer,
you talking about in the trailer?
Yeah,
she does say that in the trailer.
fighting Sabine.
Fighting Sabine.
So they're going to go at it.
I think. Yeah.
And she's like, "You have no
that
power."
was
That's-
daytime.
And you have
I
no
think.
power. And she goes, "Yes, I do." And then Yang goes, "No, she literally
No,
has
she
no
literally has
power.
none."
I've
She said it.
made
Nope,
sure of that.
you're
That
correct.
droid
She
has
has
more
no
force
power.
abilities than she does."
Droid.
None
Yu Yang's
whatsoever.
just constantly
Mediocre
just
at
ripping her.
with the saber at best.
I have seen newborns with more power. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
easy, Hu Yang.
Luke,
This isn't
Luke in
open
the
mic
chat.
night at the at the droid
Boom,
bar.
chick.
What'd you
Yeah.
say?
I was saying Luke in the chat said something I've seen going around online too. Said the puzzle of her in the temple
Yeah, the
also immediately reminds me of Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor.
Oh, yeah.
like the kind of gameplay of figuring out some of those puzzles,
For sure.
especially in the
very
temples.
cool.
Very
Temple
to
stuff.
me, my first thought was
Moving the stones.
the three people reminded me of the three gods of Mortis.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it reminded me even that and the puzzle of them opening the portal.
Yeah.
felt a lot like that.
Right.
Um,
And I
and
was
then
fine
the
with the
puzzles
pace of it.
for Jedi Survivor.
Let's talk about these Easter egg connection
All right.
things.
Some of them we already mentioned, so I'll rattle off these quick. But first one, opening crawl, obviously reference to the
Yeah.
saga
Yeah.
films.
Sag,
Uh,
sag.
The opening scene being very A New Hope, the ship. We're
Ship
right,
coming reveals
right
the
into
engines.
it.
Yeah, I
right
love
into
that.
it.
That's great.
So
The
it
shuttle.
felt like the two things to start this show were like very like George Lucas OG Star
Mhm.
Wars.
But
So I like that.
modified.
But
slightly.
modified,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
made it new, but
Referenced.
also clearly referencing
Yeah.
these moments.
Love it.
Another one that I don't even have on here, we already talked about, was the Vader look of Balin walking down with
The hallway?
the hallway and coming down the ramp.
And the ramp. Mm-hmm.
Another one, the star map. The star map. One, I was wondering based off the trailer. We saw it visually, but we didn't get a name drop until we get the episode. They actually call it the star map, which is referenced first seen in Knights of the Old Republic. So both aesthetically, it looks a lot like the star
Mhm.
map. So it was referenced there, but then they also call it a star map.
Star map.
So that was cool. The Gods of Mortis, I just touched on that one. That
Yeah.
kind of reminded me of that. Obviously, we get the reference of the Ghost, but the Phantom and Chopper, all of them back. The Night Sister. A lot
That
of
was a
people
cool
were
reveal.
a lot
as
of
far
people
as the
speculated
confirmation
that in the
Yeah.
trailer. A lot of people speculated, oh,
It
we
looked like
see
she
the
was using a
green. Is
little-
she a Night Sister?
Yeah.
And confirm she's
great.
she,
Love this.
Yeah.
She's a
Night
survivor,
Sister.
basically, or
Yeah.
something
You're a
like
witch.
survivor of the
I'm a
Night Sisters of
survivor.
Dathomir. Yeah,
Mhm.
so that was cool.
that. Dathomir Knights.
Fulcrum name drop.
Yeah, I love that.
was
Fulcrum
cool.
name drop. We get that first time live action. What is it? Is it Hu Yang?
Yep.
Hu
Yang.
Yang. So you already gave the backstory on that. This was interesting. I can't credit that I actually found this one. Most of these I noticed, but this one I looked up. The registration number of
You didn't know that?
Ahsoka's
Wait a
ship.
minute. You didn't know that? Oh.
T6
This is
T6 1974. Filoni born June 1974.
Wow.
wow.
Reference to his birthday.
Little
Oh,
that's a
narcissistic
little,
there.
Exactly.
I
What's
know.
it sound like? The world spinning around your
Next
head
thing
like
we're gonna
that?
know, Steven Spielberg's making a movie about his own family.
I
Yeah, what are we
know.
doing? What are we doing?
By the way, the
I'm gonna
Fablemans-
keep
the
going.
Fablemans is
Sabine,
great. Go see it.
Sabine and Kanan reference of cutting the hair, same
Yeah.
look, even
Yep.
looking at the helmet,
Holding
him
the
looking
knife.
at the
And then
same
she
way
takes
they hold
that
the
knife and
knife.
slits her own eyes.
Yep.
Just,
She's blind.
I like it because it's
Ahsoka
that was a little too
smiles.
far. Sorry.
this guy.
Why
It's
did
going
you
I
do
way
was
that?
kidding.
too far.
She does not
Did you
blind
see that?
herself.
Family-friendly show. This guy.
Ahsoka's so calm. Why did you do that?
Why'd you do that?
You're
Hu
blinded
Yang says,
now.
Yeah.
you, again, cannot use
This is why you're
Force.
difficult to
Why
work
did
with,
you do this?
Sabine.
You're gonna stay
This
here for a
worked
while.
for this. He literally becomes a wolf. You do not need to do
This
this.
is the one thing you had over Kanan. But I like that it signifies her readiness for
choice.
the next chapter and her journey ahead. Basically,
Yeah.
a nice homage to the late Kanan Jarrus. Obviously
He's always late.
always late,
the
never on
Lothal
time.
references visually same shots. Some of them were shot for shot the same.
Yeah.
With the live action
Right.
to Rebels.
The one with the
ending
mural.
scene
Yeah.
yeah.
is shot for shot where they go up to the mural and she touches like
Yep.
the face of Ezra like with a finger, then turns around, and then Ahsoka's waiting there.
Yep. Even the
Filoni's
look
like,
of
I
the
did it
thriving
right the
city.
first time. Why would I change it?
He's
Yeah.
like, I gotta do this again. All
I
right.
did it already.
Even just like the thriving city, how it's all built up and looks more luxurious. Like
Yeah.
it looks the same as the show.
It was really cool the way Lothal looked.
Lothcats. Gotta mention Lothcats.
L.A. Lothcats.
One of them, the
Rainbow.
Darth Maul probe droid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Had to go
that
back
was
and watch
cool.
that.
Same
Like,
shot.
That was
Yeah.
cool.
As soon as I saw that, I was like, Darth Maul? Oh, no.
No.
But yeah, I mean, basically same shot. Shin's like back.
I love the two cuts too. They got the angle, angle. We see them all three.
Yep.
You can't see them. It's
Yep.
really
and then
cool the way
just
they
sending
did
out
it.
the probe
Yeah,
droid.
it's
So
so
that was
great.
really cool. A little homage to Darth Maul. Corellia, another reference. Like we're referencing things from every era of Star Wars.
Can I throw one out that I
animated
noticed?
shows. Yeah.
The scene in the hospital with Sabine.
Yeah.
That droning is the same sound of that's the blender when she's cooking in Luke's
Oh.
Peru.
Oh yeah.
Go back
This
and
is
watch episode
this
4.
is-
Yeah.
It's the sound of the blender she's dropping stuff in. You better have those droids in there by minute. I'll be held to pay. It's the same sound. Like it's
Wow.
not related to. But I was like, I know that
I
sound.
know
Yeah, like
that
that's
sound.
a,
That's
a
her
good
cooking.
sound.
there.
That's it. Maybe Baru's cooking in the background. She's
Yeah.
surprised.
She's over there throwing vegetables in a
She's just like
in a
very,
magic,
very
blender.
toasty. She's like a little
Toasty
roasted.
in the back.
I gotta go back and watch it, but I'm
Just
almost
lives in the background.
100% sure.
This
It's
one
just
was
the
really
sound
cool.
effect is the same.
This one was really cool. I like this one a lot. Did you guys notice Ahsoka's force ability to as she walks through the scene of Sabine?
Yeah, the replaying of what
she's-
happened.
She can
Here.
sense, and actually, it's like she's visualizing the past of what
Mhm.
happened. And it immediately, I was like, "That's Cal Kestis's Echo force ability, where he can touch an object."
And
So
then
it's a little
yeah.
different now. Cal can like touch an object,
Yeah.
and then he'll see the past of that object. But Ahsoka's almost like a stronger version of that. She doesn't
like,
have to
walk
touch
through
it. She can just walk through the scene and sense everything that's happened right here.
Mm.
And I thought, oh, that's the
Yeah.
same.
It's,
is.
it's
Same ability. It
essentially
was
the
really
same
cool.
ability that Aragorn has in the Two Towers, which is incredible tracking
It is.
ability. That
Oh,
he's
yeah.
like,
Unbelievable.
the binds were cut, and they headed. Oh, there was a tussle, and headed the thing going for us. Like, how in the world? Like, he's
Yeah.
Which is a direct
Like, which is
copy of The
awesome.
Princess Bride. It was
Exactly.
a great sword fight.
yeah,
The
it's
loser
exactly
headed off
it.
that way. The winner went that. That's exactly it.
That's exactly
but I
it.
thought that
It's
was really cool.
inconceivable. Yeah.
To Blade.
What else we got?
I saw a car with a
the bluff.
license plate. They drive around. The license plate is to Blave.
Dude,
I'm like, that is the
that's
best.
So good.
It's such a subtle.
I love it.
Oh
but
man.
everybody who knows the movie knows that.
Yeah.
It just
Everyone
says,
else is just
to
thinking like,
Blave.
to blame. Which of course means to bluff, which probably means they haven't played cards and they cheated.
That's so good.
True love. She says true love. Max, quiet, you.
Quiet, nah. Don't hear it. Nah.
Hey, quiet, witch. Except for nice.
Say that name. Oh.
There's nothing better than true love, except for nice MLT when the mutton is nice and lean.
That's so great.
That was an Easter
Billy
egg, too.
Crystal.
Billy
There you
Crystal,
go.
The
Yeah.
late great.
He's always late. No, Billy Crystal's
Late
alive and well.
Crystal.
What else?
He-
we
Billy
got?
Crystal's at the LA Clippers games, but he will switch to the
LA Lothcats.
Lothcats.
You look at these cats. They're
precious-
very low.
Lothcats, my
Very low.
They're very loath. These
They're very
cats.
my special followers. The Lothcats.
What else we got?
The Lothcats love him.
I got a few more here.
Lothcats love me. Look at my Lothcat. Isn't he the greatest?
Look at my Lothcat.
The
isn't he
Lothcats
the
just sitting there
greatest?
going,
Oh, no Loth
I love
wolves.
cats.
No wolves.
no
Loth
wolves.
wolves. I
No.
think we're.
Man.
I think we might get one.
No
eventually.
We
Doom.
might get one.
No Doom.
We gotta get one.
We did get the
Yeah.
HK assassin droids
Yeah.
though. Also
Yeah, those are
from
sweet.
Very cool.
Very cool.
referenced in Legends, but also Knights of the Old Republic.
Any droid with a cape that like
Knights
has
of the Old
swagger
Republic.
before they fight.
Man.
I like it. It looks like obviously we don't know if the backstory is the same, but if so, then they were repurposed to potentially hunt down Ahsoka. Marok, Ahsoka.
Real quick before we forget, how about the guy? how about when that little weasel's like, no, this,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
talking to everybody about the thing,
Yeah.
like, well, what about? And then you get the people going, and then the one guy goes,
for the
the one guy goes, for the Empire.
Just weasel.
Which is hilarious that I saw someone point out and said, well, first of all, if these are all like, it's funny that, 5 seconds before that, this isn't even poking fun at like the episode. It's just funny the way it played out of like a minute before. They're like, well, these people weren't, they weren't loyal to the Empire. They were just greedy. And then this guy literally goes, for the Empire.
I
Like,
know.
well, no, he was for the Empire.
Yep, for the Empire.
This
It
wasn't
Yeah.
just
Die.
greed.
Well, the guy who was saying that was also for the
no,
Empire.
I know. It was just funny.
That's
Yeah.
That the
true.
guy, and also Ahsoka's back has turned. This guy could have pulled his gun and just
Pull the
instead
Empire.
he goes for the Empire. She goes, there's your hand. Like, it's just like
That's why they
that gave me
failed.
enough. That's great. They
It's
always
just too loud.
they always are too loud.
Yeah.
Unlimited power.
That was
and then
Vader's
we give the
biggest
lightning.
problem. He's trying to sneak up on people in here.
Yeah.
I think there's someone behind
I
me.
think, that's it.
Can hear
Josh
you. Dwarf
Reed,
breathing. Yeah.
welcome. Welcome
What's
to the chat.
up? What's up?
We'll get to that question in just a second.
Easter
We'll get
eggs.
to that. Oh, I got a
Sorry,
few
guys.
more. Got a few more.
Yeah.
Marok
Yeah.
looks like I didn't know there were any Inquisitors left, but potentially the last surviving Inquisitor that we know of.
Mhm.
So interesting to see
Which
that.
we got a helicopter.
Even
saber.
though Vader turned back to the light side after his passing, the Inquisitors are still out there.
I'm not quitting.
Um,
Inquisitor for hire.
interesting. E-wings, you mentioned this earlier.
Yeah,
but we
those
got
are
our
cool.
first live-action E-wings. Imperial remnants. The
In the
specific
crawl.
terminology
In the
too
crawl.
of using that.
Mhm.
Not only has that been referenced in Legends, but they also reference that in The Mandalorian as we see like the Council and they talk about Thrawn and
And in their announcement of the Filoni movie, that was
Yeah,
in their little
Imperial
blurb,
Remnants.
was the,
So-
in the Imperial Remnants
Cool
was kind
seeing
of the
that.
big adversary.
This was another one I saw. This not a big thing, but just kind of cool. The end credit scene as it's showing like it almost looks like the map that we see on like the star map, like the circles and all that stuff.
That
Apparently,
font was very interesting in the
that's what I was
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
touch
yeah.
touch on. The font, and this was one I looked up, was like a combination apparently of different Sith languages and some of Ralph McQuarrie's original
Oh, that's actually
wow.
original like designs for the language.
Wow.
So it was like a combination of those.
My
So
Secrets of the
could
Sith
be
book.
significant,
It does
revolving
right to
around
me,
the ancient Sith of where the story goes, but could not be. Could just be a
Mhm.
cool
That's
thing
cool.
that they added in there.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. The mural, obviously, we touched on that.
By the
And
way,
then-
if you're ever at a party and you want to just sound like you know what you're talking about, just drop the name Ralph McQuarrie and people are like,
yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's
It is a good
Ralph
name.
McQuarrie's original drawing.
it's a guy. It sounds like a
Well,
guy
it's-
who's done a lot.
Ralph McQuarrie designed these.
And then
back
if
in
you're really-
75,
If you want to
pre-Hipster
then take it up a notch too, you're like, well, you know, it's kind of very Phil Tippett inspired.
Phil
And
Tippett
people go,
inspired,
whoa,
yeah.
Phil
Whoa.
Tippett, Ralph McQuarrie. Buy
Yeah,
this
it was
guy.
stop
dropping
motion.
names.
That's it. Buy this guy a blue milk stat.
Blue
Ralph
milk.
McQuarrie and
None
Phil
of this
Tippett.
green milk
How come they don't
gibberish.
call that bloke?
Bloke.
It should
They
be.
should.
Bloke?
They should.
Because it's stupid.
'Cause it
That's why
sounds
they
like
don't
someone's
call
just
it
going in
bloke.
there. Bloke,
That's a
bloke,
stupid idea.
bloke.
Last one, the return of
The Jedi.
Ryder. Ryder.
Love Clancy.
Love
And,
it.
and
Oh,
is it Jay Kell or whatever, his assistant or
Yeah,
the
yeah.
senator?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So the
Jack
return of
Jack Kell.
those
Yeah.
of those characters also reprising their role, but it's cool seeing
Yeah.
that was
He
unexpected.
was perfect for the
I
character.
We knew we'd
know.
get our classic Rebels characters
Right.
back, but seeing them also back was
Cool.
cool.
His
He
voice.
was great. He had a prominent role in
But yeah,
Rebels.
bunch of Easter eggs, bunch of references, Corellia, basically every Star Wars type of project,
Yep.
animation, live action, original, everything. Got a lot.
I was
of
hoping
references.
Joe could pull up that sound effect from episode 4.
Blue.
Throwing that
Oh.
curve at him of the blender. I'll call it the
The
blender.
blender.
I'm telling you, it's the same
I was
thing.
rewatching
It's the
the
same
finale.
thing.
And
It's the
I was
same thing.
rewatching the finale of Rebels, and
Yeah.
the joy I got of watching Governor Price just go up in
Oh my
flames. Her like ship is like up there, and she's like looking and just like.
I
engulfed,
know.
And I was like, that turd had that coming
Good,
for
let's
4 seasons.
land.
She was
4
so terrible.
seasons.
She
She's
was
the
awful.
ghost.
She was the worst.
to see them destroy you.
While
So
while
Governor
Joe's
Price.
looking that up,
darling. That's what I
Eat
expected.
flames.
darling.
You're lying, darling. I watch you die.
No capes, darling.
No capes, Ezra.
Do you remember?
Do
Ezra?
you remember
Ezra
the
Bridger?
Purgle?
Ezra Bridger, also known by friends and family as Jabba the Hutt.
Jabba the Hutt, yeah.
That's right.
That's a deep cut.
Lando Calrissian. I love all this fake.
Lando.
Jabba the Hutt.
Lando Calrissian.
Oh yeah, well, Jabba the Hutt, we do know is a hut. You
You're
are not
looking
Jabba
different.
the Hutt.
You're not a hut.
You are not a slug.
You're not a slug.
No.
You give
While
it away
Joe's
when you
looking
say
that
your
up,
last name is
Josh
the Hutt.
said,
Hut.
I told him we'd get back to this. Josh
Yeah.
said,
Yep.
any thoughts on the Netflix show coming out called Rebel Moon? We touched on this a little bit. Since it was originally written as a Star Wars plot.
I have to get out of to say ahead of time, I haven't watched the trailer yet for Rebel Moon. Other than I saw a clip of
Yeah.
I did.
the lightsaber.
I watched it.
Mhm.
It looks very inspired by Star Wars, but also
Its own thing.
it you can clearly see there's things that were taken from that plot and then made new
Mhm.
because it's not Star Wars.
Yeah.
So it looked like he pulled a lot, obviously, from Star Wars. You see these lightsaber-esque things that he
Yep.
makes the animation look different because you probably have to.
Yeah. Right.
But it looks cool. But
Yeah.
clearly inspired by Star Wars. But also looks like a lot of. To me, it reminded me like I was watching this. And I was like, one, it was a long trailer, so I was like taking in a lot. But it
Yeah.
felt very Star Wars.
He's looking up
He's
some
working on
I
sound
can
effects.
hear it. Star Wars,
Working on
Dune, and like just like Greek mythology,
Yeah.
all thrown into one.
Right.
So it looks interesting.
Yeah.
Looks like a lot darker version of Star Wars. I believe it's rated R. Rated R.
Our movie, our show.
So yeah, I don't know. It looks
those
interesting for sure.
Yeah. When does that drop?
December.
Oh.
This December? I think maybe this
I don't know,
December.
again, I didn't watch the
They
trailer,
announced
but
2
I-
parts.
Oh, really?
So they gave the dates. I'll look at it. It's at the end of the trailer, but December I think this year, and then the part 2 comes out either next year or the year after.
And this is part of the Snyderverse. You said Superman's in this.
Basically, isn't everything Snyder does part of the Snyderverse?
Well, I know that we'll get the Snyder cut. He does it. Wait, this time he does his actual own movie.
And then
And
the Snyder
then-
cut.
and then-
Depending on
He's
the
still not
reaction,
happy.
I'm actually also going to do another cut. This is my cut. I'm like, well, you did the first one. This time you did the whole thing, and then
He'll have the
you changed
Netflix
it.
cut.
He'll rally all the Twitter
There's that.
Snyder cut
There you
hashtags
go.
to get it
Snyder
going.
cut.
I like it.
Snyder cut.
But yeah, it does
and
look
then all of
interesting.
his followers, those are the Moonies, the Rebel Moons.
The Moonies. They're the Rebel Alliance.
Mooney.
The
It's even the
Moonies.
Rebel.
I know. Rebel Moon feels that's no moon.
Right.
That's a Rebel space station.
That's a Rebel moon.
That's no moon.
I
Too
am
big to be a
excited for
moon.
that. Yeah.
But yeah, looks interesting.
From what I had heard, it sounds really interesting.
Did Joe
Did you find it?
Okay, so
Okay.
give
am
us
I
this
right?
is
Am I right?
Was
so this
Chewie
is a
killed by
this is a
moon?
deleted scene,
Okay.
but you can hear the because I know what you're talking about. You can hear the blender. I think PC audio is on, but here we go. There it is.
Action.
That sound.
yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
100%. I caught that too. I was like,
I think that's the same sound they used in the hospital.
be. I'll have
for,
to
is
watch
that
it.
the
I'll go listen
same
to it.
sound
Yeah, that was
as the hovering torture droid?
Oh, it might be.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really similar to that. Yeah.
The
yeah.
Vader
Might be.
goes
But I'm
in
pretty
to
sure that's the
Leia.
same sound they had in the hospital for the mechanic. Whatever.
I'll have to
the,
go listen
I
to
like
it
it.
again.
Go listen.
Yeah.
I can pull that up right now while you're talking.
Yeah.
Nate, what should we talk about? Folks, let's talk about my favorite character. Folks.
You look at these cats. A lot of loath in these cats.
guys, talking about cats and dogs. This is Star Trek. Come on. Talking Star to live.
Come
on.
I got one. Predictions.
Beam me up.
Ahsoka
Beam me up,
assumptions.
Scotty, come on.
Any
Huh?
predictions for the next episode?
Um,
Do we get Thrawn next episode?
there's 8 episodes.
It looks like they got the hyperdrive
It's
they
a
need.
short one though. I'm gonna say maybe we don't next episode because it's short.
Or what
But
if
that
it's
in
at the
episode
end?
4 we do. Maybe at the end you see like the back of him.
I always feel like those things come at the end of the episode.
Could be, yeah. Could be a
We
little
see the
reveal.
scene from the. By the way, they did like 90% of the trailer stuff in this first 2 episodes.
I know. I always love it. When
The only
they-
thing we haven't really gotten is Thrawn and Thrawn and just the Hayden Christensen voiceover stuff.
Yeah.
Those are 2 things I know off the top of my head that we haven't gotten yet. But but
Oh yeah.
any other predictions?
I think we're gonna get. Oh gosh, how long do you think we go before? I guess the big prediction.
They have
is,
to catch up with them before they take off, though,
The
right?
big prediction is how much Hayden do we actually get? Is it one scene? You think?
Is it Force Ghost or is it
They show 'em in the
flashback?
trailers.
Force Ghost or flashback?
In this war, you're gonna face more than just droids.
Do you think we get Hayden Christensen as a Force Ghost or flashback?
Because it sounded like he was talking to her about the Clone Wars, is what we heard in the trailer. I think.
Yeah.
In this war, she's trying to prevent a war right now. In this war, you're going to face more than just droids. Sounds like he's saying, in this war, you're going to face more than just droids because in that war, the Clone Wars, there were a lot of droids, but what you really have to watch out for are the people on both your side and the other side that have their own agenda that you have to navigate. You know,
So you're saying,
I was thinking that
are you
that was
saying that
maybe
it's a Force Ghost now, and he's referencing the Clone Wars?
that it was
As in, like, this war is different than the war
That-
you fought in the past.
that that it is. No, I don't know what I was saying.
I like it.
I don't
Uncle?
know what I was saying. No, that felt like a. I don't know where it's.
where it's
No,
going.
I was thinking that sounds like he is referencing. Not that it's. I don't know.
It's
don't know.
definitely old Hayden Christensen's
It's definitely
voice.
old Hayden Christensen, but also he can't do young Hayden Christensen.
I know. They did with Luke.
Well, yeah,
It's possible. but-
True. That's true. Yeah, maybe it is just the Force Ghost. Say that again. I was thinking of something else.
Thrawn just arrives with the First Order. They came from the
Yeah.
other galaxy. Yeah.
Yeah. This is different. True. I've had a. Feels like he's talking to a younger Ahsoka.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I feel like at this point, Ahsoka feels like the knowledgeable Gandalf figure.
She's like, I'm older than you were when you stopped being Anakin.
What if it's
Whoa.
what if it's like an old
Because you don't
like,
age once you die. That's
what
it.
if it's just like an old
like a
hologram?
That's what I was thinking initially. Is that she's listening to like one of those.
She's listening
one of those
like how
pucks.
Sabine did. Sabine pulled up Ezra hologram. What if it's a Hayden Christensen
She's listening to some
hologram?
encouraging.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I hope
I
it's
don't
not that. I'm just kidding.
I hope.
I don't
we-
know. It would be
I
cool
would
to see him.
love to.
I would
How
love
they
to see
do
the
an actual
discussion.
flashback scene though, like they do in Obi-Wan. How would they actually do that in this? They would de-age Hayden, and then they what? Recast? I mean, Rosario
there-
Dawson's 40.
weren't
She's
there
not gonna be a-
rumors-
she's
wait,
not gonna
weren't
play
there-
a
Weren't there rumors
play
though
like
of a
a-
younger Ahsoka being
15-year-old?
cast?
I don't know. Maybe.
I remember when this was first coming out, like with all the announcements, there was nothing confirmed, but there were rumors that there was a younger Ahsoka being cast for flashback scenes. So I don't know.
There
if
were
that,
also
I
rumors.
don't know if that actually happens,
There
but
were also rumors that Thrawn is still out there and that he's going to return, and those turned out to be true.
yeah, whispers.
Whispers. Also, Palpatine's still out there. There's a lot of people still out there.
There are.
They need to finish the job on some of these. It started.
Wait, you're telling me?
Obi-Wan doesn't finish the job with Anakin.
You're telling me they
He leaves
find
him there
they
twice.
find Thrawn?
Twice.
You're telling me they find
Shalom,
Thrawn in a different
Darth.
galaxy before they find the Emperor in this one?
Well, Exegol.
Think about it.
Arguably, Exegol is at least as hard to find.
I know, intentionally,
Yeah,
but I'm
that's
just
true.
kidding.
Yeah.
I'm
My
excited.
advice to the
Uncle, any
Rebel
predictions?
Alliance is finish off these bad guys.
That's a good one.
Stay there just 5 minutes longer. Make sure nobody comes scoops them up. They shovel the remains of Anakin off of the side of Mustafar. They scrape him off that mountain and put him in there. He's still alive. They're putting his parts
They
together
do.
and they wheelbarrow him up there. He's still alive.
Kinda.
I guess.
Before we wrap up, Uncle Joe, any
Uncle Joe.
Uncle Joe?
Uncle Joe, folks, you better go, folks, you got the aviators. Call me Tommy Cruise,
Any
folks,
principles? Any principles?
folks. We're talking about Star Commander, Star Commander. Come in, Buzz Lightyear. Come on.
Buzz Lightyear, come on. Any predictions?
We know
Oh,
Buzz Lightyear.
I don't know.
But Lightyear did so well at the box office. Next episode?
In this season. In
Nice.
this season.
I like that. I make a
Anything for next
prediction-
episode? Nice.
We may get a glimpse into that other realm because they're going there. What if we get a glimpse?
Oh, before they actually get there. Oh, wow. That would be cool.
Before we bridger the gap. Ooh.
Bridger. Ooh. Yeah.
Oh man. They cut to Ezra and Thrawn. They're just playing chess. And Ezra's like, I lost for the 1 millionth time in a row.
On this hollow chest.
Yes.
Joe, anything?
Yeah. I'm going
Oh,
to say.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Let's go. I'm going to say the super mega powerful hyper ring they're building.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to say it's some sort of special proprietary technology that allows them to maybe go faster than light. We don't know. But, I mean, galaxies are many parsecs away. So, it's not going to be your, casual jog across one system. So if they're trying to, be kind of real, dare I say that word in the Star Wars universe. But yeah. Because they got the sublight, they got light speed, hyperspace lanes, blah, blah, blah. Maybe it's something that will make that jump doable in a amount of time that everyone doesn't die and require 7 generations
You can
to
get
make.
there, but billions and billions of years from now, you'll get there.
Your grandkids. Your
We really are doing
grandkids'
Interstellar now.
grandkids.
You can go get Ezra. He'll be long dead.
And be long dead. You
Oh, they should.
fast on this journey because of the gravitational pull.
But you'll get back and you'll say Murphy's Law. There's Murph. There's Murph. There's Murph. You'll say, and then they got Matthew McConaughey, who says, come on now, Murph, come on. Murph, you can't do this. Murph, come on. There's Murph.
All right.
Well, folks, we don't know about no Papa Murph, Papa Smurf. We're going on purple guy. It's Thrawn. We're talking Thrawn, folks. Guy's bluer than the sky and during daytime. Come on. I don't know what's gonna happen, but
Oh man,
my
That's your
prediction is that
Joe, do you
that's
think
it.
we'll see that jump next episode, or do you think it just sometime this season?
I'd like to think it would be next episode.
Next
They were
epi.
putting in the
That's it.
final drive. They have their Eye of Sauron, and they're ready to,
Yeah.
to take flight. I don't know, whatever. Or maybe it's just a hyperspace ring for like a, Super Mondo Star Destroyer type ship, and they just need something to go fast because apparently that can't go light speed by itself. So I don't know.
The funny thing would be, if
Or
they-
the whole
they
planet
tracked him.
goes.
Yeah, the funny thing would be they track them and they go, guys, we know exactly where they went. Unfortunately, their vehicle that gets there
We can never
is
get
with
there.
them. We have no idea.
We can't
how to
get there.
Fortunately, we need
We do
to
know where they
lasso
went.
a Purgle and latch on.
We do know
Latch
where
on.
they went.
We need
though,
a
which
built
is
saddle.
important.
It's just what that is a giant saddle.
It is.
That ring is going to open up and just latch onto a Purgle, and they're going to
And
ride
they're
the
gonna shoot
Purgles
it
out
like
of there.
Ahab's ghost. Catch onto that whale.
It's just
and
a
then
giant
go.
whip, and they're like,
Gone.
yeah,
That's it. That's it.
and that's how you get there.
whale.
There she blows.
He's gonna be
The
played by
Purgle we
Clancy
saw
Brown
in
also.
Mando. The Purgle we see in Mando is just them riding past.
That's it.
Lassoing
We're
Purgles.
like, this is a lot slower than we anticipated.
The Purgle.
It's an actual
They're
whale.
riding, and then right
We're
next
never
to him,
gonna
they
get
look
there.
and like, what's that giant worm? It's Timothy Chalamet is riding his worm, and there's
it's just Dune.
there's like, what's going on here?
Is that
Cinema
Baron
between
Harkonnen
cinemas.
over there?
You guys did see the Purgle, right? In that episode?
In the
Oh, in the episode you just
two.
said we saw
Yeah, you saw that, right?
the Purgle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the Purgle.
The Purgle.
Yeah.
The Purgle.
It's gonna happen.
Going to
It's
Purple
gonna
Tour.
happen.
It's gonna
Oh,
happen.
it's gonna
They're
happen.
definitely.
Purgle
They're out there.
It's funny they introduced
They're purging.
something
Oh,
that
they're
was like
purging.
out there, like space whales, and that it has such a big important thing.
It is.
Like it's the
It
puffer pigs did not end up having the same payoff.
No, they just clog hallways.
So Dave's
They
pitching
clog
that to
hallways.
Kathy. So here's the thing, right? So he's out there. It's on a whale. A what? Yeah. It's going to be great.
It's gonna be great. We're
gonna
gonna
be
do it.
great.
I
Yeah,
trust
we're
you,
gonna love
David.
it.
She calls him David.
I trust you, David. No one is upset at me online.
Nobody is upset on me.
Stakes are
Oh,
high on this
man.
one. Could be it for both of us. So let's bring it. Bring
If
it
I'm going
home.
down, we're going down together.
Remember our pact?
Davey.
We're going down together.
Favreau's not going to save us.
And Favreau's over there still going.
Favreau's
Just
over there
Jack
going,
Black
cut to
and
Favreau,
Lizzo.
and Favreau
Not
goes,
gonna happen.
they cut to Favreau, and Favreau's sitting there with an orchestra, and he goes, "Now remember, we say curtains on 3. 1, 2, 3. Curtains, curtains."
And on that note,
McConkie
let's
means
end this
curtains.
podcast episode. Curtains.
Hey, Dad,
Yeah.
love you. Dad, love
The
you.
man
Hey.
who brought you Lizzo and Jack Black, John
Oh,
Favreau.
last thing I need to
You were
mention.
gonna say, I thought you were going to say Bryce Dallas Howard.
Last thing I need to mention.
Yeah, that
I
shit
need
was
to mention
terrific.
this because, again, I love The Mandalorian, but it was refreshing. We talked about this a little when we watched it
It's
last
weird
night.
how
of-
our tastes are changed.
It's
They go
it's
back and
different.
forth.
Yeah, it's interesting how I like the fact that when we got to the command deck of the New Republic ship that's escorting Morgan
Freeman.
in their Morgan Freeman. Well, it was at that moment I realized that I had crossed Ahsoka
Turtles
Tano
won't
one
kill
too
us.
many times.
Pearl
No,
Freeman.
but it was. I know where this map leads. Is say Wantanehu. I'm going to see Andy Dufresne. A tall drink of water. I knew at that moment, like, I really like that the way they're doing this when we just saw a bunch of kind of random people on the on the flight deck, and it wasn't like, oh, there's Tim Meadows, and he's gonna come up and be like, hey, this is funny because I'm on SNL. Like, I'm an SNL character.
Kate
and like,
McKinnon comes
yeah.
out from the back. You're like, what are we
exactly.
doing here?
Like,
Yeah.
even though I think it fits the Mandalorian a little bit better, even
Yeah.
though sometimes I think they maybe lean into it a little too much, or at least
Yeah.
this season 3, I felt
Season
like
3 did.
they
This
definitely
doesn't
did
give
it.
off that vibe.
It was nice that they didn't
No.
take this moment, and it's not that there isn't any humor. Hu Yang was funny.
It feels more serious.
There, but it's nice that it's not like constantly. Oh, I wonder. We get to a new planet.
Who's
Who's
coming?
it gonna be? Adam Sandler. Oh, how's it going? I'm a New Republic
Yeah.
officer, and you are so in for it. I don't know. Like it
Yeah.
would have been. It's just. It feels like that's where we're going with some of the Favreau stuff.
Penguin.
Even though I love it. It's Oh, hello, penguin, or should I say space whale? Like it feels like
I didn't think of
there's
it
not
one
really a
time.
line.
Like, who we gonna see? Who is? on
No,
there?
and I
No,
actually
no.
liked that.
Mm.
That it was like, oh, this is more the story. There's nothing
I
that's
felt
taking
more.
me out
I
of it
felt
a little
more.
bit at all.
Yeah.
I didn't think that
I felt
in
more in.
Andor either. Had
No.
that same kind of
Yeah,
like.
exactly.
more-
Even though there's
Lots of
Felt more like in the story.
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
though there are big, even there are bigger name actors. Rosario Dawson's not a small actor. Clancy Brown, who plays, who's both
Right.
in
Right.
Rebels and is he's been in a lot of things. And I like, I recognize that actor from this, or even that's a famous, but it's not like, oh, that's Jack Black playing Jack Black, basically.
Right.
Or like,
Yeah.
it's there's not one actor who feels bigger than the scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, I mean, that's always been like George going back to the very beginning. It was like, we need, he wanted the one established, really like famous actor in Alec Guinness.
We gotta have
he-
unknowns.
But it was interesting. He was,
Yeah.
insisted that the rest are pretty much unknowns because
Mhm.
he doesn't want to be like, that's like, just like it would never.
That's.
I don't
yeah.
think there are some actors that I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, that's Jedi Leonardo DiCaprio. I would think like that's
Exactly.
Leonardo DiCaprio. That's George Clooney. Like it wouldn't.
It-
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even for Mando, it
Oh, that's
feels a little
Tom
bit more
Cruise.
of that. Like you can do that some, but
Right.
Yeah.
I just liked the feel of
Yeah.
this, and
I do too.
How the shows are different.
It's great. I love it.
Love it. Love the start.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Love
Lots
it.
more of it. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think.
Yeah.
I think
Nate.
that's it.
And we got Tuesday nights now, so
Oh yes.
Tuesday
watch
nights.
watch on Tuesday. Cast with us.
Cast on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I don't know why I did that.
Cast.
Cast.
And we're back in for
away.
the foreseeable future, right? We're not.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're
Oh, yeah.
covering.
We're dialed
covering.
in. All right.
Unless
Everything.
Nate might be recruited to be a Jedi.
Oh.
He doesn't have any discernible skills. But
No. I
got
just
plenty
have
of
this
sabers.
lightsaber. I just have this lightsaber
I
Ezra
know,
left
I'm just
behind.
kidding.
He's got
Actually,
all the
you
sabers.
have
True.
all the-
We
you
got
have all the
Ahsoka stuff.
sabers out
Look, we
here.
finally changed the stuff on the table and got a little Ahsoka themed out here.
Yep,
That's
that's the
good.
Grogu actual size saber.
That's Grogu's
That's
saber.
good.
But yeah, we
I
got the
like that.
Ahsoka sabers and the Funko Pop there.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Nate,
It's angry.
So yeah,
Where can
if you
people
made
find
it
us?
this far, why? No,
Explain yourself.
thanks
something to
thanks for
do.
tuning in. We always appreciate you guys
I like
tuning
those
in and
cats.
participating in chat too. We love the live discussion and engaging with you all. If you made it this far, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and smash the notification bell because it really helps. It helps us out. So thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you guys in the next one for Ahsoka. And as always, may the Force be with you.
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating. and my voice has dropped significantly over the years, but that happens with age. Hello, Anaheim.
Hello, Anaheim.
Hello, Anaheim. Hello, Star Wars
Going
celebration.
back to that.
Just it's that or it's Biden.
Folks, I went to
Hello, Anna.
They're
Hello,
that far
Anna.
away too. They're like they're that close.
I know Annie M. I
Head
know
falls
Annie M.
further.
Annie M. Annie M. Come on.
Hello,
There's no
Annie.
place like home, Annie
Come on,
M. Folks.
Hello to Annie Ann Pretzels.
I went to school with Annie M. All right, she was good. Had her for class. Come on, got good grades.